Welcome back, guys, for session number 3 of Kingdom of Tymria. Where last we let off, if you guys remember, in front of you, you see this map of this this hideout of Daily Silvereye. Interestingly, it was very interesting how it went down. His dog Half Pint got killed by a single strike by Gideon, but then the trickster Kalsheen kind of barters a bit with Daly and brings the dog back to life, and basically you guys convinced Daly that there was no way out of there and that he was pretty much going to be brought in. So he surrendered, and and he was just actually really grateful that you healed his dog, Half Pint, because he kept saying that's the only thing he really cares about in this life, and that's all he's got.
Heck yeah.
So, we left off too. Remember the guy who got beat up, and you took Gideon. You took his sword and you took it back to him. He had like dried blood on his face. Some of it had flaked off already, but you handed him the sword, and he kind of spat at Daly at his feet and just ran off. He thanked you and everything. But that's where we let off. You guys already leveled your characters level 2, because this night when you guys sleep, you're definitely going to be hitting level 2, but we need to resolve what happens at this point, because if you recall, Gil coming onto the scene shortly before all the tensions rose with like trying to find Daly and you trying to solve this little crime, Gideon, because it happened in your district on your watch, so you're doing your duty as a guard. So the 4 of you are standing in the street, and you guys look as this young man who got beat up by these thugs runs off into the city. And there's an awkward silence as everyone's just kind of looking at each other.
Real quick, though. Hold on, man. Hold on. I remember... Am I fucking going crazy? I remember Casey getting a bunch of gold for doing something.
It's for the quest.
Yeah. He got a bunch of gold. He went back to his place and carried the bounty. Yeah, you fucking bounty that fucker in.
Let me look at your character sheet.
I guess I did do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you getting a bunch of gold for that.
Gold.
And you gave a handful of it to the Tiefling because you were like, bruh, you did good. Here's some fucking gold.
You mean to the Halfling?
Yeah, the Halfling, the fucking Hobbit. Yeah, I remember that.
75% of it. Yep.
Yeah, I remember you gave most of it to him. So
you guys, so that night, you guys went and collected the bounty. So we're a bit farther along than I thought. So that means Kalsheen and Ashe, you guys then, is there anything you wanted to say to Gideon and or Gil before you guys head off to go to the Azure Brotherhood Guild Hall?
Oh, how did we leave it off?
Because we were kind of in a hurry and stuff and trying to wrap it up so I can afford you guys' experience and stuff. So I think you guys definitely would have said something to each other. Recall that scroll that was found with that note from some guy named Cleric that was communicating with Daly.
I know Casey and I think Kyle came to some deal about the note thing.
Yeah, because I was going to kill him, basically, and then Casey was like, no, it's worth it to take him in, please, and we made some deal. I just don't remember the details.
Oh.
I don't remember it.
Well, you made a deal about the scroll, too.
Yeah, the note.
Yeah, I made you read it to me. I made you tell me what it was, because you were keeping it hidden.
Right, so the deal was you were going to take it and go show it to some dude,
someone important,
someone important, and then I think I was gonna come back afterwards.
And I said, "What? Yeah." I said, "No, this is evidence. I need to take it. I'm gonna go show it to my superior, my support, whatever the fuck, and then I'll give it back to you the next time we meet." That was the deal. I do remember that now.
So I guess we just need to schedule some time for us to meet.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your head, Kalsheen, you're probably thinking, I want to go check out this Cleric guy. I know the name, so I'm gonna, from reading the note. So I guess you're going to go do what you can to find out everything you know about that, to see if it's anything you can look further into. Definitely sounds like it was someone higher up than Daly who is giving orders to Daly.
Ashe is a part of the guild now, right? Is he your brotherhood?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet? Okay.
Nope, not yet. So she was doing an excursion with you as kind of like a preliminary trial.
Okay. So she's not officially in yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So I guess Daily. So how do you think you are going to try to track, in case you want to go maybe check out Daly's scroll again that he had, or that note? Do you want to find out where Gideon lives? Gideon also, I think there's the idea last time too of maybe you were interested in showing Hughesbane that note, because Hughesbane definitely has some notoriety. He has some pull. He's been around. He's experienced, and he's a pretty high rank in the military. There's a lot of people who respect him.
Yeah, you're right. No, that's who I was planning on showing the scroll to. I'm glad you refreshed my memory. That was him.
So I guess it's up to him where we want to meet.
All right, so do you want to ask him?
Yeah, Kalsheen is just going to say, Gideon, there, sir. I'm a little intrigued on that note, as the name seems quite familiar to me. Do you, by chance, when you're done using it and have no further need of it, could I borrow it myself?
Yes, indeed you could. However, I must show Hughesbane this scroll as a part of my role and duty. You may follow me, if you wish, to Hughesbane's dwelling. And afterwards, I may highly consider giving it back to you, depending on Hughesbane's reaction.
And he says, fair enough, good sir. I will not waste any more of your time.
You've already wasted. I'm just joking. All right, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay, so then you're probably like, all right, let's go, Ashe. Let's go collect our bounty.
Let's go, my dear little apprentice.
Yeah. So you guys go back to the Azure Brotherhood and you collect your bounty, and you divvied out the gold and everything. We already did that last time. So Gideon, you look next to you after you see Ashe and Kalsheen depart from you, and there's this Aasimar guy who is still standing there completely silent, and he's just kind of staring at you a little.
Okay, so now to the DM, is there anything that Michael or Mikhail would have showed me, give me a vision of on what I'm supposed to do with Gideon?
I cannot wait for this fucking conversation.
Nope, not yet. Anyways, there's nothing yet. You definitely were shown kind of a vision of what this person looked like that you needed to find, and you were confident that you have found him, and he's standing right before you. But you definitely sense that he has kind of an abrasive personality. He's not too happy to see you, and you kind of get the sense that he's annoyed. But,
Gideon, I know you don't like me, but we're destined to work together. I hope you trust me.
I don't. What, bro? Like.
What, bro? Yeah.
You have to understand. That's not gonna. Okay, I'll play along. So, I'm assuming my back is turned, or am I looking right at him?
You're looking right at him. Yeah. If you want, up to you.
Right.
You can turn your back on him.
What is your name?
My name is Gil-Galad. You can call me Gil if you like.
My name is Gideon. I have been annoyed thus so far from you. However, we have really gone through something together, and I really feel if you feel it's something important, you should tell me. You should say it now or leave.
Fortunately, my friend, I don't have very many answers myself. All I know is that you are the one destined to be traveling with. I'm here to help you, and you are here to help me.
I shake my head. I am in disbelief. I'm not a guy that does that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I might have a hint of maybe understanding where this is coming from. Clearly, something has brought us together. We've been on one adventure. Clearly, you've helped me. However, I'm a little concerned because I don't believe in the superstition that you claim to me. It
Let's
may
just
have
say-
to be shown in time.
Let's just say this: you are to serve the people, as is my task to make sure I serve the people, and make sure justice is done.
Well, you seem like a noble character. I'm sorry for giving you the cold shoulder. However, we must move to Husbane's house instantly. I must show him this scroll. How about you tell me your story along the way?
I will. Lead the way. Let us go.
Okay.
Tell
So
the story.
so Gil, you follow Gideon through several winding streets, and by the way, you've actually reached the end of your 12-hour shift, Gideon, and you're a little bit beat. You have the next day off, fortunately, so you don't have to worry about attending work and being on shift. But yeah, so Gideon, what do you tell? Or sorry, Gil, what do you tell Gideon as you are traveling with him back to Hughes Bane's estate?
Basically, just everything in my bio. I tell him my whole backstory. Of course, me being an Aasimar, how I have a guide.
I need to look at your bio.
Me giving him basically the download on how my guide gave me the vision that he would be the one that I need to team up with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So he describes his whole backstory. I don't know if you've read it before or not.
I read it. I just needed a recap there. Okay.
So it
now I get
sounds
it.
quite a fantastic tale. Something about some horrible large beast going through a village. What was it, like a giant dog with 3 heads?
Cerberus.
Yeah, like a
Well, you don't know the name Cerberus. You don't know what that is or
Well, yeah,
what
my
this
character
creature even
doesn't
is.
know,
You just have
but,
these
yeah.
probably horrible memories in your head of this horrible 3-headed dog beast dripping saliva everywhere and
basically
decimating people in the village.
Basically, I tell him it's about like a hellhound, almost the size of a house with 3 heads.
Okay, I would, as we're walking, reply like, "Wow, that is quite this. That is quite the story."
And Gideon, I'm
Honestly.
sure you can't help but think, wow, something like that? How come I've never heard of this before? Surely I would have heard about this.
Clearly, this is some mystical beast I've never heard of before, and your story is quite interesting indeed.
Trust me, it may sound mystical, it may sound like folly, but however, in my 43 years on this life, I've never seen such a mystical creature.
You are older than me? That's not possible. You look so young.
Ha, a lucky trait I am blessed with.
Clearly, and the halo you hide behind your cloak makes me extremely interested. However, a little hesitant to know you. But your story is impelling. Maybe we might be able to look a little more deeply into your situation. In time.
Maybe with your friend's knowledge, we will gain some more info for ourselves. He seems very
Indeed.
wise.
Into Hugh Spain's house we go.
All right, so
Be respectful.
yeah. So a few more minutes of walking, and you two eventually arrive at the doors of Hughes Bane's estate. It's seen better days. Back probably about 5-6 years ago, it was an abode of great pride of Hughes Bane. But Gideon, you've kind of been complacent over the past 5 years, and you didn't really do the upkeep that Hughes Bane definitely would want you to do. I'm sure maybe the things being a little bit run down, not as taken care of as it should, might have attributed to Hughes Bane being so upset when he came in and saw you with that young lady.
2 young ladies.
2 young ladies. So, but it is what it is, and you probably don't, after doing a 12-hour shift on the guard and stuff, last thing you feel like doing is spending your free time doing labor work like that. So you get to this estate.
I mean, just as I walk in, if I may, just kind of a little offset type thing. As we walk into his house, and I kind of look around and kind of chuckle to myself. My wife would have killed me. And I'd leave it at that.
And then you walk in and it's completely dark. It's the middle of the night. You hear some snoring sounds from the other room, which you can definitely tell. Oh yeah, Hughes Bane's snoring. Yep, that is definitely him. You just hear this constant drone of snoring. So it seems like Gil probably should stay with you for the rest of the night. Maybe there would be time, your feet are aching, you're kind of a bit exhausted, especially with the surge of adrenaline that you just had taken daily down.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, hold on. If I remember, who has custody of Daily right now? Did you guys take them to the Azure Brotherhood, or?
Yeah, they had him in shackles.
Yeah.
I had to take him to the Enduring Brotherhood.
Okay,
So.
right. And then he was good. They were going to be turned over from the Brotherhood over
Right.
to.
It was already a completed bounty. They got the gold for it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was the case. So, you kind of smile to yourself as you think, yeah, Daily's money. Yeah, it kind of distribute it to people who probably need it more than that punk. Just think, you don't really like these criminals that show up in the city and make a mess of things, especially beating up young men, taking their prized heirlooms. So yeah, but you might be a bit exhausted. Is there anything more? Maybe you want to talk to Gil, or you want to find him a place to sleep in the house?
Yeah. So we walk in. Clearly, we're creaking the wood, but this fucker's snoring. Look, I don't want to wake him, so I'll tell Gil. Look, Gil. Clearly, tonight is not the night to get the information we need. So let me show you to a spare stack of hay I have in the corner of the room that you can lay down on now, if you don't mind staying for the night.
Yeah, I will gladly take it. Show me the corner.
I have a cotton pillow. Let me pull it from Who'sbane's head.
Don't wake him. I'm fine.
Use your pack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Use your fucking pack. Okay, so yeah, and then we both find a place to sleep.
Yeah, so I kind of just plop down in a corner and kind of
and take a long rest.
Okay, so you go to your living quarters and you kind of just take a load off and you get Gil situated. Just you find him a little place to just sleep, kind of off of the way in a corner. It's not like a huge house or anything. It's just a few rooms, a little area for like the kitchen and for building a fire.
You guys don't have bunk beds for your best friends?
No, there would be no
like,
bunk beds in here.
You could just sleep next to Who'sbane. Just don't.
In
touch
fact,
him.
you kind of grimace because you're thinking, man, Hughes-Bane is back. That means he took his bed back in his.
He took
living
my
quarters.
fucking bed. Yeah.
Yeah, so he took your bed. So you kind of got to make do in a much smaller, rickety bed that definitely creaks a lot every time you shift your weight in it, which is annoying. But it's a bed nevertheless. So. If there's nothing else you guys want to do, you guys drift off and you start your long rest.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Done.
Now, Ashe and Kalsheen, you guys are speaking to one man who did some of these tests and verified that indeed Daily was indeed Daily Silvereye. I think I mentioned that before. How they're very thorough to make sure that they have the right person, and so they're not paying bounties out for people who are trying to fraud the system or whatever. It is Tymria. Greed will do strange things to people and get them to do strange things. So, you guys collect your bounty, and you guys are left there. There's also someone else who comes up and says, Kalsheen, I just heard you brought in Daily Silvereye. And he is a young man. You've ran into him a few times, and it's kind of in discussion. You get the sense that he's been a member for probably about just 5 months longer than you, but he kind of seems to be somewhat of a show-off. But you can't help but tell that his demeanor is truly sincere. He is impressed that you brought in Daily Silvereye. And there's kind of like this informal competition. You can feel the very air of competition between you two, where he wants to do better than you. Like, he's almost kind of like a rival, but you don't hate each other, you're not like, you're actually very cordial and friendly with each other. It's just, you can tell, like, he really wants to do something big too, and to like kind of rub it in your face and be like, look what I did, right? But he's like,
what's his name again?
His name
Put that
is
down
Daily silver.
His name is Brazen.
Brazen?
Yep. Brazin.
Brazin.
But he sees that there is a halfling there, and she's looking up at him, seemingly unconcerned, and says, "Well, who's this? I've never seen you before, child."
And he kind of gives a chuckle at that, as that was pretty much his first impression when he saw her. And he says, "Child, yeah." He says, "This little one here is no small child. In fact, it's just a small halfling, and also potentially our new recruit to our guild."
And he looks down. He says, "A halfling? Oh, I am so sorry. I keep making that mistake. You think with all the halflings in this city that I would learn. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit tired, and I wasn't paying much attention. I do hope you will forgive me. What is your name, little one?"
They call me Ashe.
Glad to meet your acquaintance, Ashe. I am Brazen. I've been a member for a while. So you were saying, Kalsheen?
Yes. Ashe is my apprentice here. And he goes on and he says, "Have you ever had an apprentice before?" "Oh, probably not." And he says, "It's a lot of work, I tell you."
That's hilarious.
Somebody that they look up to. And he says, "But moving on."
Oh, you're a savage motherfucker, bro.
Ashe and I, well, me being the hero of the day, we took down Daily, if you remember who he was, off the board.
Oh, I remember. No one knew where he was hiding.
Well, that is... Wait, what did he say?
He said no one knew where he was hiding. He says, how did you find out?
When you got the resources and the people, he says you can find almost anyone in this town.
And he looks at you, and he looks at Ashe, and he just says, I would assume you probably had something to do with that. And he just gives you a smile, Ashe, as he's not really believing that...
I just do like a little slight nod, but don't say anything.
Yeah. And so he smiles and he turns his gaze back towards you and Kalsheen, and he lets out a yawn and he says, so who's your next target that you're picking?
Well, that's just the thing. There's this name that I heard today, and it almost seems familiar, and I was just about to go look at it right now.
He says, you got some intel? Do you mind if I come along?
And he says, be my guest.
Ashe, do you want to kick him?
I'd be like, okay, nope, I'm done talking.
Why? Did I miss something?
So there's kind of like this competitiveness aura between these two, and Kalsheen is very naively agreeing to let his competition go with him to go look at this name on the board.
Yo, that's his problem. Okay.
So you kick him in the shin and be like, bitch.
Well,
no.
except for, I think you're getting like, what, 60-70% of all the profit?
75, yeah.
75. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, okay, if you're not, that's cool. All right, so Brazen comes along with you then?
Yeah, Brazen come along.
Oh, no.
All right. More the merrier, huh?
No, bro.
It's just coming to look at the board, right?
Yeah, it's look at that. Jesus,
it's not like Brazen has joined the
party. Set my room on fire.
Yeah,
let's go on the journey together.
Brazen has just now joined the party.
Yeah,
right, so you go to the finder's board. Okay. You go to the finder's board, and he says, "What's the name?"
And he says, I'm trying to remember, I think it started with an L. Cleric? Perhaps?
And he thinks for a moment. He's like, I'm not sure I've heard of that
and
one.
He's gonna
says, let me see. And he starts scanning the board. Of course, starting at the bottom. Or no, sorry, the top, because I think the top were worth the most. Or was it
Yeah, I think it was
the top.
With the most. Kalsheen's expecting it to be somewhere towards the bottom, so he's going to start somewhere around Davy Silvereye, maybe above.
Okay. And you guys are looking at the board, and and you guys, what seems there to be for a couple minutes, just looking, kind of moving some papers that are tacked there, and he says, "Did you find it? I'm not seeing a Cleric on this board."
No, I'm not finding anything over here. He must be such a small bounty, it wasn't even worth putting on the board, sadly.
And he stops, and you see Brazen hold a hand up to his chin, and he scratches it, and he says, "Of course, there is the other board."
And he's just sitting there contemplating. He's like, "You really think he would be on the other board?"
What other board?
He says, on the other wing, there's a special board that normally is reserved for those truly skilled in the Brotherhood. So definitely it's, well, no offense, my good friend, but probably much above your means. He says, perhaps the name is there. They're reserved truly for the dangerous ones.
He says, "I guess it wouldn't hurt to take a look. Let's see if we can find him there."
Okay, so you guys travel through a few corridors, passing through several doors of some rooms where you hear crackling fires and sounds of people sleeping and snoring. And you end up in this other portion of the guild estate. And there's, sure enough, he opens up this door, and there's this other lounge area that you never even knew was there. And he walks in, and there it is, next to a hearth that has some low-burning embers in it.
Oh. I didn't know about this board.
Nope, you did not know about this board.
All right.
And in fact, you didn't even know about this room. You've never been in this room before. In fact, this whole section of the guild hall is kind of more where the upper elite.
Oh, okay. Upper dude hang out.
Yeah, so you never really had any business on this side of the guild estate, or the guild hall. But there's a little bit of lingering aromas of food and stuff that was probably being cooked on the hearth. I mean, it's practically middle of summer, so there's not a whole lot of need for a fire, although you're high up in the mountains, so maybe at night it does get a little bit chilly. But there's just some low-burning embers there. But there's this board there, and Brazen goes over, and he gets a lamp, and he, lights it. And there's
should
a
be
few
Brazen's apprentice.
Yeah,
he knew about this place.
Get right.
You want to switch? You want to convince him? Hey, can I be your? No. So there's a light that just fills the room. No one else is in this room but you three. And there's this other board, and it's not nearly as full as the other one, but there's more writing. There's a lot more things for each bounty, or for each person that you guys are supposed to, for each person that wants to find someone on this board. There's a lot more information there. So you can go ahead and start scanning this board.
Yeah. Any names that I maybe have heard of?
Wow.
Yeah, so you're looking at these names, and almost you see it right as Brazen says, "Oh, wait, here!" And he points his finger at one of the pages that's stuck onto this board. And sure enough, it says Cleric. Now, there's some additional writing here. But the one that stands out the most to you is the one that is in red that says reward 2,000 gold.
Holy shit.
And his mouth just drops. He's like...
And it says, it gives 2 names of previous Azor Brotherhood members who went to try to find him, and they were found murdered. And it gives the name of a 3rd Azor Brotherhood member. I actually didn't come up with the name, so not really relevant to anything. Right. But there's a 3rd name of a guild member who went looking for this bounty. And it even shows some history of the bounty. The bounty has been going up and up since some members were turning up murdered, basically trying to find this Cleric guy. So
Right.
the third one, though, is simply missing. No one found a body. Just disappeared. And there's even some notes scrawled there, like, paid this amount of money and this amount of money to certain contacts to try to find the missing Brotherhood member in Mystica and throughout the lands, but nothing has resulted in any word of him. So the presumption you could probably make is that maybe the third one's dead, but there's no body. So,
Right.
but definitely it says extreme caution, extremely dangerous. You can see the history, a little bit of history too. It started off being just a normal bounty where he was just in debt and was not paying his dues, and that the first unfortunate bounty hunter tried to bring him in, but got himself killed. And the assumption is that it was Cleric that did it or had something to do with it. So, so far, Cleric has definitely eluded the authorities in Tymria.
Wow.
But, you keep thinking this, and Brazen, you see him kind of swallow hard, and he says, I must not lie. I was kind of thinking that maybe I would get a heads up on the bounty here on this, hoping that you would share with me your intel, but I think I'm going to leave this one alone.
And he says, and he just kind of scared now, are we? But you can clearly see that he's not too fond of what he's reading either.
Yeah.
And he says, "You watch, I'll bring him in no time."
Oh shit!
And he says, "How did you find out about this Cleric? Do you have any idea about his whereabouts? We could pass this information on to some of the more elites in the guild. Maybe they'd be well suited to take this task."
He says, "No." He says, "I never got anything that far." And he says, "Just everything to do with Daly's whereabouts. Nothing on this guy. He was just mentioned in a writing I found." And he says, "And that's all I got." He says, "Just a bit curious, but now that I see this board, my curiosity is definitely saturated with a lot of despair. So," he says, "Ashe says, perhaps we should take our leave and figure out where you are staying for the night."
Wait, hold on real quick. I have to make sure that are you being deceptive right now? Because some detail of where he's at.
I am being a bit deceptive.
Okay, I mean, clearly the letter...
Yeah, but I don't think this guy's going to really care, even if he is being deceptive, or even if he senses a bit of it, because he is basically not really wanting any part of this.
Okay. All right.
Being as how two previous members showed up, got murdered, basically.
And a third one set out, who's probably murdered.
Yeah, and he just says, "Well, Kalsheen, if you do pursue this, just be careful. Do not be foolish. Keep your wits about you and be alert."
He says, "I could say the same to you, Brazen." And he says,
"I enjoy our friendly banters, but I do not want to see you come up dead or missing."
And he says, "I would feel the same way, good friend, or else I would have no rival." And he says,
"I am no rival of yours. Surely you jest."
He says, "You're right, because I'm always ahead of you." And he just kind of
Oh, that's so good, dude. That's awesome.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
And he just smiles and he lets out a laugh after he just kind of pauses for about a second, as he clues in on your fine humor and stuff. And he lets out a laugh and he says, "You always make my day, Kalsheen." Says, "Well, I am tired," and he lets out a yawn. He says, "I am going to go turn in."
And he
It's
says,
been a long day.
"Best for both of us to get some sleep. I have a feeling it'll be a busy day tomorrow." And at that, he gives a look to Ashe, and hopefully we set off from there.
Where do you guys even sleep at, though?
Well, that's what we're going to go figure out.
Guildhall, I think. Or the temple.
The temple, probably.
I think it was the temple, yeah.
Yeah, I think you were staying at the temple, because you're kind of a lowly ranked as your brotherhood. I think we discovered.
I don't think I have my own room.
You don't have your own quarters or anything.
Yeah.
So, but as you were walking away from the guild estate, then it occurs to you, blast it, Blazon, he has a quarters at the guild hall.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, competition. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny, man.
That's awesome.
Alright, so you go through some twisting, winding streets, middle of the night. Doesn't matter. You're hearing boastful, like just loud humor and laughing, and girls laughing, and like drunken, disorderly men wandering the streets. People playing games in the streets, like with
craps.
With dice and other tokens. City that never sleeps.
Hell yeah,
There's
man.
always things going on. But yeah, you eventually make your way to the temple. And I believe you were going to have Ashe stay with you in your quarters again? Or did we talk? That sounds familiar. I think we talked about that last time that Ashe would be staying with you.
Yeah, you brought her in last time. Just stay with her.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, is there anything else you want to do at the temple, Ashe or Kalsheen, before you guys start your long rest and call it a day?
He'll probably go pay his respects to Lady Tymria, and then actually he'll bring Ashe with her since he's a cleric and not you're going to try to persuade someone. You might as well do it if they're your apprentice. You know what I mean? Like follow the faith and such, but. He's like, he'll show him the grounds of where he goes to make offerings and stuff like that. And
okay, good. Yeah. A few praising prayers to Lady Luck, Lady Tymria, and
Hell yeah. And he'll toss in 4 gold pieces, I guess, as a donation to the church.
Clink cling as they go into a box, and you hear the cling of some other coinage that's in the box as well. It's one of those donation boxes where enough to slide in coins, but there's no way you could fit a hand in there.
Right. Hell yeah.
So you leave mark off the coin.
Yep, I did.
And I want to go rob that fucking coin box, honestly. If I wasn't the officer, I might.
That's a good idea.
You're wanting to be a Fate Lord.
That's a good idea.
Fucking Ashe is gonna sneak in the night and just go collect all that fucking loot.
Well, when you're in this area where there's like the altar and stuff, and kind of like this holy shrine area of part of the temple for ceremonies and stuff like that, and that's where like the boxes where you go and pay your respects, and even commoners who aren't like a priest will sometimes visit because they'll have special purposes and needs. They'll either try to buy services from different priests in the temple for various things like maybe curing a disease or blindness, especially those who are wealthy can afford stuff like that. But normal common folk, people who don't have a lot of money, they just do normal trade skills and stuff like that. They'll sometimes come in, and if they're about to undertake something dangerous or something very important to them, they'll throw a donation in the box and say a prayer to Tymria and hoping that she'll bless their lives. And that's just common. That's just part of the way of life. Also, there's a lot of mysticans coming in where if they, even though they professionally worship Mystra, they do realize that there's other gods out there in the world, some good, some bad. Mystra is just one of those, but their way of life is more conducive with Mystra. But when they come to Tymria to try to strike it rich, they kind of feel like, there's superstitions with the gamblers and stuff. A lot of them will, and the temple loves it when this happens, when some rich mage will come in about to have a fun weekend or a fun week and drop a big, huge donation in the box of gems and all sorts of stuff to try to appease Tymria, so as if that's going to help their outcome even more.
Hell yeah.
So it's kind of a superstition, but it's just kind of one of those fun dynamics about the Kingdom of Tymria.
That's pretty dope, honestly.
And because that's so lucrative, there's more than one temple in Luxhold, by the way. I mean, Luxhold is a very huge city. There's several districts to it. There's several temples spread out throughout the city. And they all make a good, they all do quite well with the donations.
I imagine there's a lot of donation boxes around the city.
Yes, they are strategically placed.
Hell yes.
It's good business.
Well,
all right.
Before we leave, it's time to go visit all these locations.
Well, there are people, as you walk in there and give your donation and say your prayers, Ashe and Kalsheen, you definitely, as you walked in, you're not all alone in this area.
These times,
there's some people sitting there and they're bowing their heads and they're, like praying, they're whispering like, Please, just let me. Just this one time. Let me just win.
Let me just win.
I'm gonna roll the slots one more time. Please, let me win.
One more day. Just let me win.
Oh, fuck
So yeah, and that's what they do. So you leave the little ceremonial hall part of this temple, and you go to your quarters. Just a small, simple place. Nothing much, but your needs are not great. You don't mind living modestly, so you find a little cushy place for Ashe to sleep, and you guys turn in for the night. Ashe, is there anything you want to talk to Kalsheen about? I mean, it's like middle of the night. You guys probably a bit tired. You're probably maybe thinking about things you want to do the next day. And you have a big chunk of coinage in your pockets or in your pack.
Kalsheen wants to ask her something.
Ooh, okay. Spoiler alert. There's a shop somewhere near, bro.
What do you ask Ashe, Kalsheen?
So Kalsheen, as we're retiring for the night, Kalsheen says to you, Ashe, he says, what do you think about this Cleric fellow? And he's just kind of rubbing his chin, taking his cloak off, whatever, just stretching, getting ready for bed. And he says, any thoughts on the subject? He says,
2,000 gold seems a bit maybe beyond our pay grade.
Yeah.
He says, can you think of it, though? How much gold that could be for you and the people, how they would talk if I could bring such a hefty bounty in. He says,
yeah, I would imagine some people would probably notice that. Not all of them good.
Perhaps we, he says as he corrects himself, and he says, we scavenge some more information tomorrow about it. Maybe find a little bit more details. And he says, I don't want to give up on this potential quest so easily.
Well, it does sound somewhat dire. Something to keep our eyes on, at least.
He says, yeah, indeed it is. And he says, pleasant dreams, little one. And he goes and lays back on his bed and shuts his eyes.
Wait, don't you get tired of being called little one, though?
I close the sock drawer and go to sleep.
My apprentice, man.
What was that, Mike? You closed the sock drawer?
Yeah, that's where I'm sleeping.
Oh my god. Actually, wait, that's awesome. That's so good, dude. I swear to God, this should be a fucking movie. This should be a movie. This is hilarious.
Absolutely.
Are you actually sleeping in the sock drawer?
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man.
That's
Just pull the drawer open and be like, wake up.
Yeah, you like open the drawer and he's sleeping in there like a baby. You're like, oh my god.
Like, you're so cute. I just want to pinch your cheeks.
I just want to pinch your cheeks, a little halfling.
That's my hand.
It's like a little Japanese.
With your hairy feet.
Yeah, with your Oh, man. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they have the hair.
I don't think she's a hobbit, but...
I know they're kind of designed after
just sorry.
hobbits.
I mean, my concept of halfling is always
the
hobbit.
stout the one that is the one that had like all the hair all over their feet and all that?
It is the stout.
I kind of remember because in second edition there were a lot more varieties of halfling.
I am.
But they're like
what did
it's
you
not
say?
like dwarfism or something, right?
Dwarfism.
It's just naturally small.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
I'm Lightfoot.
Okay, you're Lightfoot. You probably don't.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
hair.
like
okay.
Yeah, like
thin hobbits.
Exactly, and that's why people think they're just little children because they're definitely not the stout. Stout, I think they definitely stand out. They're a halfling, but I think the Lightfoot ones, yeah, they get confused to be children all the time.
Except for I've got a fully developed rack, but
So like, bro, if we run into a corrupted ring,
could be apples or something.
If we run into a corrupted ring, I'll make sure you hold it.
Yeah, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
All right, so you guys drift off, do your long rest, and ding, you guys level up. You guys reflect on your experiences the previous day, and so you guys.
Yes.
Congratulations! I wish you guys rolled a bit better on hit points, but we'll see how that plays out for you. Now, this night, Gideon, you're trying to get cozy, and you're just thinking, okay, every time I move, this bed creaks. It's irritating me, but I'm just going to try not to move. And, your feet are just aching. You're just exhausted and tired. More so than usual because there was quite a bit more excitement the previous night. So you drift off to sleep. And as you were dreaming, you find yourself, Gideon, in some sort of village, and you're going shop to shop, and you're just trying to find this awesome looking mace. There's this mace you really want to buy. You don't know why, but you feel like you want to buy this mace. Just a really, really nice one. And you go shop to shop, but no one is there. And you're kind of getting frustrated. And as you're walking along, you then notice that there's no one in the streets. And then you start thinking, wait, where is everyone? And you hear the sound of Gil-Galad yell your name from off in the distance, saying, Gideon! Gideon! And you look over and you don't see anything, but you heard the voice, and it was coming from behind some buildings. But you can't see anything. But you hear it again, Gil-Galad's voice. Gideon! Gideon! Like just yelling in desperation, and you know that yell. You for people in the streets who are calling for help, right? Of like desperation. You can feel it in his voice, and so you start to burst out into a run, and you go around the corner of this large building, and suddenly you see this landscape before you. You're standing on the edge of a massive cliff, and you look around, and all the buildings are suddenly just gone. But you see down below. You see Gil. You see Gil down there at the bottom, and he has his shield upright like this, and you see these wings just billowing out from him, and you see this golden halo about his head just glowing ever so brightly, and you see these flames just coming down upon Gil-Galad, and then you follow the flames up, and your gaze looks up, and you see this what looks to be a dragon, but it's made completely of bone. And these flames are just jetting down. And Gil is standing there defiantly with his shield up, just batting away the flames. And you've never seen this creature before, or even what it is, but it looks like the skeleton of a dragon, but it's flying up there, breathing these flames. And then you hear the sound of a horn in the distance. And you look off to the west, and you look, and your mouth drops open as you see hordes and hordes of gnolls and other creatures on the horizon. You can tell just from their cackling and their gleeful laughs, like a hyena. You can hear it even from your great distance that you are. And you just see hordes of them, and you see flames from behind them just rising up, as if these flames has like its own life energy. And you then see this light open up from the sky, and this luminescent light just pours down over you. And it says, you could be the Fate Lord, Gideon. And then it says, trust in Gil-Galad. You can be one that can stop this from happening. And then you wake up, and you're like kind of you're dripping sweat down your face, and you hear the bed creak suddenly in protest as you sit up very quickly, and you look over, and Gil-Galad is asleep. But like you could not help but remember in your mind how Gil-Galad looked, like all majestic and really quite beautiful, just standing there defiantly against this giant beast with his shield up, batting away the flames and repelling with his wings, buffeting in the halo. And shivers go up and down your spine. And you can still hear the voice resonating throughout your mind of calling you the Fate Lord.
Oh, that's an epic story. Holy shit, man.
So, may I interject real quick, Barry, if I may? Or
sure.
You? So, I'm in my position. I'm kind of prone. I'm crouched in a corner, and I noticed that Gideon, stands up because he just came out of this dream. And I kind of
hold on. Let me see if you do. Let me check your passive.
Stay
Okay,
asleep, bitch.
You hear a pretty loud creak, so yeah, you're suddenly awoken. You're in a strange place too, so I'm sure you're sleeping light. I always sleep light whenever I'm in a strange new place. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you are awoken, and you think you see the silhouette of Gideon sitting up on his bed, and he's kind of breathing like. You don't realize you're breathing heavy, Gideon, but you are. And you're just like, kind of like, what the crap? Just what was that? Like, you've never experienced anything so real to you in your life, but you keep thinking of all those horrible things that were happening.
So anyway, I'm there. I'm just in the corner, and I'm hoping that he looks back at me, if that's the case.
I do.
Looking into my direction, and I kind of just cock my head up a little bit, and only one of my eyes is showing through my hood. And I just tell him, "Now, do you understand?"
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
That's so savage, bro. I'm telling you, man, I'm getting emotional here. That was a very emotional little thing that Barry put together there. Goodness, seeing slaughter all over the place. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, so I'm rose up out of my bed. I'm freaking the fuck out because I'm like, what's going on? Okay, the biggest question is this what to come, or is this what happened in Gil's life? Like, do I know
You
this?
don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
But
Is it better to assume that this is what Gil
remember
went
what that
through?
voice said, though. Just think back real quick to what that voice said.
What was the voice again? I'm sorry.
You could be the Fate Lord, right?
You could be a Fate Lord.
You could help prevent this from happening.
Right, which makes it seem like it's a future event. If I hook up with Gil, that we could stop this
That's the reason
catastrophic 9/11 event.
Yep.
That's the reason why I told you. Now,
Yeah.
Okay,
So you definitely,
right.
you probably would not be
but I
thinking
don't
that
see
it's something
Gil
that
in
has
any of
already
that,
happened.
though, right?
So.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did. I saw him below. That's true. I saw him protecting it all.
Yeah.
And me
You saw him
overlooking.
majestically standing defiantly against some sort of dragon
goodness,
skeleton
man.
beast.
With your wings out, it was such a beautiful thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I look over at you, and I'm almost in tears. This is the first time. Okay, there are only 2 times my character's ever been in tears. The first time was when I stubbed my toe on a large rock when I was 12, and the second time was tonight from my dream.
Oh, gosh.
So I look at you, and I tell you, what you've told me and what I just dreamt, something is connected between us. How is this possible? I dreamt of destruction. I dreamt of looking down at you, blocking the guard of this bone dragon, slaying the entire area. What else can you tell me? What is going on? And why did I have this dream?
Yeah, you have no idea what the heck he's talking about, Gil. Like a bone dragon and all that stuff. You have no idea what that is, or like, you've never even seen any vision remotely close to anything like that he just experienced.
Okay, so to the DM, obviously this is something that Mikhail has showed him. I'm guessing, or is this something that he's kind of?
You don't know.
You don't know.
It
don't
could
know
be.
that.
It could be Tymria. It could be an evil wizard playing a joke.
Could have been the acid
you don't know.
before bed.
Okay.
Could have been the story that you told him
it could
about
be
your
sticking
upbringing
in my ass.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there could be lots of questions that your character might have.
Okay.
Oh,
So
that was cool, though.
Why are you sitting there silent? There's something clearly that happened to me in my dream. I don't feel it was just a dream. And I don't talk this much, and I should stop talking.
I've already told you, now you understand. That's all I have to say.
I think that's how that should have gone, but okay. What do you know of a bone dragon? Have you ever heard of such a beast?
I kind of just sort of look at him and it's like, I have not heard of that beast. But
Clearly, I saw you. You were defending an entire village of people being slaughtered by this crazy beast. It was a bone. He was made of bone. Am I being dramatic? What the fuck is going on right now?
Something evil is at hand. It is up to you and I to help save the people. I hope you are ready.
I don't know if I am. Honestly, I don't. And honestly, you piss me off sometimes, but at the same time, I saw you in my dream vision. Something was real there. I saw you guarding the innocent, and that's what I do. I guard the innocent.
And I kind of just look at him, like, kind of like bow my head, like.
That was an evil laugh, bro. I'm a little scared by that laugh.
That sends chills up your spine. Like, what the hell is that?
No,
So I change my mind and I say, "Fuck you." No, I'm joking.
No,
I say fuck you.
no. So I was like, I give out the laugh, like, piss you off. Unfortunately, my friend, that's whenever you're at your best.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
All right. I guess
Awesome.
that's it. I mean, I could go on, but I don't want to drag it. But that seems like enough dialogue.
I digress.
Okay. Yeah.
I digress.
All right. So you guys enjoy your sleep. The rest of you don't have any visions or anything like that.
Nope.
That was an amazing story, by the way, Barry. That was awesome.
Sweet
Yeah,
dreams of
great.
overflowing and flame or fame. Yeah.
And
That was literally top notch, bro. Barry,
Thanks.
that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, Barry, that was pretty damn nice.
Fucking
dude.
A, dude.
Hey,
Sweet.
alcoholic drink, cheers.
Nice.
I don't have one, but yeah, cheers. Yeah, that was awesome, man.
I just have water.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, next day, it is the 20th of Radian, which is after summertide. So it's like peak season in Tymria with all the tourists from Mystica. You know, again, city's very lively. And it's a full white moon, actually. This is the second night of the full... nope, sorry. I was looking at the wrong... Nope, it's mid-cycle between the blood moon is starting to go to its new phase, and the white moon is starting to become more and more full. So it's like right in between, actually. All right, so morning comes.
I need to give the scroll to this motherfucker.
Okay, yeah, we'll get there. You guys are like separated now. So Ashe and Kalsheen are together, and Kyle, or not Kyle, but Gideon and Gil are together. So first, let's talk about Ashe. Now, there was something you wanted to do. Now, did you want to arise like earlier in the morning and go do this, and then try to make it back where it's still like morning, or like what do you want to do? Do you want Kalsheen to go with you, or do you just want to go by yourself?
Yeah, I pretty much want to go by myself.
Okay, that's what I assumed. I just wanted to make sure. So do you just want to go, like, just get up and go early in the morning?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, all the lockboxes should be unguarded by then, and I'll
Okay.
just-
Are you going to try to sneak out without waking up
Mace.
Kalsheen?
Yeah. Out of your sock.
Yeah.
Or do you want to tell Kalsheen where you're going?
No, he's probably sleeping, I'm guessing.
Okay, so roll me a stealth check real quick.
You're a sneak motherfucker.
Do you want to try to sneak out? Oh, no problem.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
No problem.
The little
You
fucking,
you hop out of the sock drawer. No problem. Get your
Hold on, bro. I didn't.
And you
Oh my
even
goodness.
expertly, quietly reach up. You know, you almost have to stand up on your tippy toes, and you manage to get at the door, and you open it, and just enough of a creak. And that's the thing, you don't have to open it that far for you to slide through with your belongings. And you just quietly shut the door without ever making a sound. Like, you would be the perfect burglar at this point. But you make your way out of the temple grounds. There are a few guards positioned here and there, but they don't really pay you any mind. You seem harmless enough. As you know, again, and I guess another benefit of being a Lightfoot halfling, people mistaking you for a child, you kind of tend to go to places that people wouldn't normally, you know, they just don't really pay you any mind, really. So
Yeah.
you make your way. It's several minutes away. It's in a completely different district of where you are now. But you eventually see the sign as you look up, and it's the sun is now starting to, like, it's fully up. You got up right around sunrise, like just a bit before sunrise. The sun is starting to crest and peak above. Well, I can't say the horizon because you guys are high up in the mountains, and so the sun has to get quite a bit higher for the sunlight to spill in to this massive like valley that Luxhold is in.
Yeah.
But you look up and you see there's enough light. You can see Second Chance Haven, which is the name of the orphanage.
Okay.
So, you're thinking back to your memories, and you're seeing, you're just like, you kind of feel happy inside. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had good experiences at this at Second Chance Haven, right? Like, there was nothing bad that happened to you here.
Well, kinda. I mean, my brother did get adopted, and I didn't, and then he got killed. So, there was that.
Well, that's true, but I'm sure
overall,
you probably have good memories with your brother at this place, and that's probably your last memory, really, of having a good time with your brother, was at this place. What happened to him, probably, it's not Second Chance's Haven fault. I mean, it's an orphanage, so there's always the expectation that
Or was
someone's
it
going to get adopted. So, so you walk up to the steps and go in?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you walk up to the steps, you see a man sitting in a chair right outside the front door. He seems to need a shave. He's definitely unkept, and he has a hat that's down, and he's a little bit snoozing, and he's like this, and he's just like...
Okay. Do I recognize him?
You don't recognize him, but you know that there tends to be different... different points. You think you have memories of kind of like these mercenary guards that were hired to kind of help look after things out front. Sometimes there weren't any guards out front or anyone to do that, but there definitely is. This man, from the looks of his muscles and everything, he definitely seems like a brawler. He definitely seems pretty strong. Like he would know how to beat someone up real good, and he's sitting out front.
Okay.
But he is sleeping because it is, early. It's pretty early.
Right.
I don't know if you want to try to sneak by or...
Yeah, I'll just try to go in.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you go in. And it's pretty quiet. From down the hall to the right, you hear a few banging noises, and you're pretty sure those are the cooks, as they're already starting to prepare breakfast, or something to eat for the people in the morning. You hear a few banging noises and stuff like that, and people kind of, some lady is shouting out a few orders like, "All right, now get it rolled. We got to have this stuff cooked up soon."
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna basically head to where the head mistress would be, or whatever her title would be here.
Okay. And so you take a left then, and you're going down another hallway, and it takes a sharp right. And there's a series of rooms, and you're pretty sure that the head mistress, or what they call... Actually, yeah, the orphan head mistress. Her office is to the left, and it's kind of a office/living quarters. They make good use of their space with everything that they have. But before you get there, you hear a voice call out, "Ashe? Is that you?" And you're a little bit startled, and you turn around and you see, just a little bit shorter than you, you see another fellow halfling, someone that you haven't seen in quite a while. I don't know how long has it been actually since you've been here at the orphanage?
Probably
a few years.
Probably about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay, perfect. So you see, now that you look at this fellow halfling, you recognize an old friend. She was very friendly to you, but she she definitely looked up to you kind of like a big sister. Of course, you're not related or anything, but she would kind of follow you around, and she was kind of your fan. She really got along well with you, and you actually didn't mind her all that much. But you then remember her name, and her name is Scarlet Bilberry. And she says, Ashe, is that you? And as you turn around, she says, it is you. And her eyes go wide, and you're kind of surprised maybe that she hasn't been adopted by now. She's a bit older, but she's still shorter than you, it seems. And she just runs across, and she just has normal clothes on. She's not wearing any weapons or anything like that. You're decked out in some gear and stuff, and and she puts her arms around you and gives you a big hug, and there's the sound of coinage of like, as she kind of clasps you and gives you this big hug, and she says, "It's been too long. What brings you back here, Ashe?"
We just wanted to visit the place and talk to the headmistress and see how things are going. How are things here?
She says, "Oh, things have been going pretty good, but then recently," and she's about to talk, but then she looks behind you, and she's looking up. And she looks up, and you could tell that she's looking at someone who apparently is entered into the area in that hall. And the headmistress door was actually already open a bit. And you see this woman leaning up against the door frame, and she's a plump woman with dark long hair, just kind of pulled back in a ponytail. And she looks and she says, "Ah, Ashe, so you've come back." And her name is Sheema, Sheema. And she says, "I was wondering if you'd be turning around here soon." And that's kind of a strange. Yeah, that's kind of strange. She says, why don't you come in and let's talk about it?" And you have no idea like what is going on.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just what she's saying is like really strange after 3 years for her to be saying something like this. And Scarlet starts to follow you, and Sheema says, "Scarlet, not now. Why don't you go get your breakfast?" And she says, "Oh, but Sheema, Lady Sheema, I haven't seen Ashe in such a long time. I want to catch up." "There'll be other times for that. Go on, go get your breakfast. Leave us be for now." And she shuts the door, like kind of like right in Scarlet's face. And she turns around and she puts her hands on her hips and she says, "Oh, Ashe, what have you gotten yourself into?"
A lot of things.
A lot of things.
Can you be more specific?
All right.
And she says, "Well, just a few days ago, I had a visit from someone. A large man came to pay me a visit, claimed to be working for someone named Von Speen. And he was not exactly friendly." And she pulls up a sleeve, and you can see bruises on her arm. And you can see the bruises of a handprint, like where she was definitely grabbed really tight. And she pulls down her collar like this, and you see bruises on her neck. And again, you see handprints on her neck. And she's a pretty burly like woman who definitely knows how to take care of herself. So you're just thinking, whoa, crap, like someone came. She says, "This man came looking for you, Ashe, and I kept telling him that I have not seen you in the better part of 3 years, but he would not believe me and resorted to this." And she's again showing the bruises. She says, "So what is it? What have you gotten yourself into?"
Who did that to you?
She says, "A large man. Did not give a name, but he just said that he worked for Von Speen."
What do you look like?
Von Speen. And I think for a moment.
Yep. And you're thinking, you're like, oh yeah, the group that Pavel said that you should probably make yourself scarce for a while because they found out kind of like about you, that you were probably the one to sell off some of their secrets.
Uh-huh.
And Pavel was the one that was warning you about Von Speen, basically.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that's me. What? That is such a. Do you have any idea who that is?
She says, well, I was hoping that you could tell me.
Well, I guarantee you, it's something I'm definitely going to look into. And it has nothing to do with why I'm here, though.
And she bites her lip a bit, and she seems not sure whether to believe you or not. But at any rate, she says, do you need help, Ashe? Is there any way I can help you? If you've gotten yourself into any amount of trouble, maybe I can help you.
Ooh, that's like a trap, bro.
And I just giggle a little bit and say, No, I don't need any help. In fact, I'm here to help you.
She says, well, you can help me by telling me what I'm supposed to say to this goon when he comes back. He surely threatened that he would be back. She says, hence the man I hired out front.
Oh, well, I guess you can tell him that Ashe is looking out for him, and he can expect a crossbow bolt in his face next time.
A crossbow
You expect
Ashe.
40-10.
Why do you always resort to violence?
Because it's the only language these people know.
And she looks at the bruise on her arm, and she says, oh, that... No doubt there is truth in those words, Ashe. It's been a while. She says, tell me, are you hungry? Would you like something to eat? The cooks are cooking up something right now.
Oh, no, I'm fine. I've got other things I need to be doing, and people, I don't want to wait for me. I'm not gonna probably be in Luxhold that much longer anyway.
She says, oh, you're leaving Luxhold? Where are you bound to? And then she says, no, don't tell me anything. I don't want to know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. When I say, I wanted to bring this to you, because I know they can always use some help. And I toss up a little pouch I had prepared beforehand.
And how much gold is in there?
I'm looking.
Or plat? No, I'm just kidding.
I wish I had plat.
Yeah. Platinum, yeah.
Right, so there's 100 in there.
Wow. 100 gold. Okay, go ahead, mark off the pouch and the 100 gold. And there's a decent-sized small sack that, or pouch that you produce on top of her desk that's right there. And it just jingles with the sound of coinage. And she looks at it, and it's like bulging, right, with the 100 coins.
Yeah.
And she looks at it, and she says, no, it can't be. And she looks at it and scoops some of the coins out and sees that it's all gold pieces. And she says, you did earn this money fair and square. Tell me, Ashe. Tell me this isn't blood money.
Oh, you've heard of the Azure Brotherhood, yeah?
Oh, well, of course.
Yeah, I'm all on the up and up now.
She says, I always knew you would turn out to be successful in life. That makes me happy to hear. And she says, bless your little heart, Ashe. She says, I just can't thank you. This will help us so much. You know how times can be tight. No one really cares to help orphans in this city.
I know. That's why I'm here.
And, you see her eyes a little bit wet of just with gratitude. And she says, so are you going to stay a little bit longer? Scarlet is so happy to see you.
I suppose I should go at least talk to her a little bit before I leave, but I do need to make some haste. It's a bit of a trip to get back to where I need to go.
She says, well, you were welcome here anytime, Ashe. And she says, if this Von Speen goon comes back, well, this coin will help to pay that man to stay out front for as long as I can. That's for sure.
Well, that can help it some too. And pause for just a second and say, I guess if you ever need to give him a name, just tell him that I'm taking care of business with a man named Leoric.
Lyric?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. She says, Lyric, is that what you said?
Yeah. That name might, scare the piss out of him.
And she smiles and she says, I'll most certainly do that, Ashe. She says, well, don't be a stranger. Come back sometime and see us. And she just kind of gets down on a knee and just tries to give you a hug. And
Okay. I'll give her just kind of a,
yeah, kind of just a little hug. And and then she stands back up and she says, tomorrow be with you, young one.
Thank you, Shima.
Yep.
Good luck, and I hope you can use the money well.
And she just gives you a nod and she smiles. And
This
she's,
scene was so bad.
you see this completely look of gratitude on her face as she looks at you and she looks at the 100 gold coins in a pouch on her desk. Yeah, definitely a pleasant surprise. All right, so
Love it.
you go towards the kitchen area.
Yeah, and I walk out the door, and as soon as I close the door behind me,
Mhm.
she just kind of like does a big eye roll and kind of shakes herself off a little bit, kind of wipes her arms a bit, and she's just like, "Oh my god, that was so freaking saccharine! I can barely stand it." But hey, at least the good deeds.
Yep. Yeah, all that mushy gushy stuff, gotta wipe it all off of you.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
Yep. So
Yes.
yeah, so you go down the hall and you're thinking, guess I gotta put up with this Scarlet girl for a bit. But you picture her cute, innocent little face, just it all smiles, happy to see you. And you walk around to the corner into like the kitchen dining area, and there's some cooks there. There's only like 3 people in there. Scarlet's one of them, sitting at this makeshift, kind of like this extended long bar stool with there's like a ladder slats going up the side of it so that she can climb up. Definitely the stool itself is like twice her size. But this little girl sitting there, munching away at a piece of an apple and some bread, and she kind of has a half mouthful of food, and she spots you. She says, "Oh, Ashe, I'm so glad you decided to come and see me after all." And she kind of pats down next to her that there's an empty spot next to her on a stool. And
I'll walk over, but not sit down.
okay.
I'm afraid I actually am in a bit of a rush, but I wanted to say hi before I just disappeared again.
You know you want to pig out. Come on. Heck yeah.
Okay, and she
I can afford better food now.
she says, "Oh, I understand. I'm sure you're so busy, Ashe." She says, "So how have things been?"
They've been interesting. I'm sure you can imagine. You're not ignorant to the realities of the city.
So, DM, question to you real quick. Did anyone find out who killed your brother?
No. Like I don't know. There might be like it's probably like more like a closed case type of thing. Like, yeah, there wasn't.
You've already accepted it.
Found and convicted or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're not interested in, or I guess it was just a closed case. Like,
Well, it happened when I was 6 too. So like, I don't know all the details about it.
Okay.
Just what people have basically told me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've asked around a little bit, just in my job, but it seems like nobody really knows anything. Nothing was ever found out. It was more just kind of like a.
So it's more of a cold
burglary.
case then, right? It's just one that just went cold. Nothing really came of it. No one got caught. And you're probably not even sure how to go about.
Yeah, there's not like any leads to follow.
Yeah. Okay, so let me. Okay. So yeah, so she just basically asks you, how things been going.
Yeah, and I'll just say that, interesting. I've got potentially, I've got a new position at the Azure Brotherhood that seems like it has potential.
She says, "Oh, wow, I bet you get to see all sorts of bad guys."
Well, you can see bad guys. Just go out the front door.
And she chuckles and she says, very, very true, especially that strange man that showed up here the other day. Shook Lady Shima something fierce, it did.
Yeah, she told me about that.
Yeah, we were all scared. She was screaming at the man, telling him to get out. It was quite a commotion. Definitely the most excitement I've seen around here in the past few months. But I hope that man doesn't come back.
I hope so too. And if he does, I gave Shima a little advice to hopefully make sure he doesn't come back.
And she says, well, if he does come back, I'm going to try to be ready. And she kind of smiles at you, and she reaches down and she pats her leg and kind of lifts up her breeches just a little bit, and you see a knife sheath strapped around the lower part of her leg.
Ooh.
And she looks at you and just smiles, and she says, I'm not going to let that bastard do that again to Lady Shima.
Heck yeah.
And I just nod and say, just make sure you find someone you can trust to teach you how to use that thing well.
And she nods and she says, good point. Maybe that new man out front will teach me. He seems to know a thing or three.
Maybe. You got to be careful about these tallies, though. They kind of look down on us halflings.
And she says, you definitely given me some things to think about. Thank you, Ashe. She
Hey,
says, well, I don't want to keep you anymore.
Yeah, before I go, I saw a street performer do something the other day. I kind of wanted to see if you wouldn't mind me trying it out.
A street performer?
Yeah, just this cool little trick.
What'd he do?
Well, let me see if I can pull it off.
Triple backflip.
Oh,
no!
Alright, what were you doing? Honestly, what were you going to do?
oh, dude, roll.
Yeah. So I'll just basically say it. So I my hand kind of moves behind my back in kind of obvious way, and you hear a couple little jingle things, and then I move my hand up by your head, and as I move my hand up, you see this little shine of gold, or she does, and then a couple of coins fall on the ground. I'm like, oh crap!
Nice.
Nice.
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
oh,
great.
well,
And
sorry.
she says, you saw a street performer do that?
No, they're far better than I messed it all. Anyway, those are for you.
Great.
I just wanted you to get yourself something nice. That's just two gold coins.
2 gold coins? Okay. She said, 2 whole gold pieces. Thanks, Ashe.
We gotta look out for each other,
That we do. And, she takes another bite of apple. And she says, see ya, Ashe. Hopefully we see each other again before 3 more years pass.
Perhaps. Be safe, Scarlet.
All right.
I will head back to the temple.
All right. So you leave out the front, and as you start to go down the steps, you hear a voice. Hey, who are you?
Just leaving. Had some business to do with the headmistress.
Okay. You're not some orphan running away, are you?
I point to the large crossbow on my back and short bow across my shoulders and say, no.
You're playing D&D.
And then he eyes your weapons and seeing that you're completely decked out for battle, basically, with your crossbows and stuff. And he just chuckles to himself. He says, excuse me, little one. I did not notice those. And he sits back, and he was kind of like about ready to get up, but then he just eats himself and he sits back down. All right, so Ashe, you leave. You make your way back to the temple where Kalsheen's at. Let's see. Got my notes here. So you've already... Yeah, so you've already discovered some information about Cleric Kalsheen, the bounty and all that stuff that we already covered with Brazen. So let's move on to... Okay, so morning comes. Okay, so we're going to go back over to Gideon and Gil-Galad. You were both suddenly startled awake with the sound of Hugh's Bane. Gil, something kicks your foot, like the bottom of your foot. Then, who are you and what are you doing in here?
I'm like, maybe you should ask Gideon. Behold, he's behind you.
And you look up at him, and you have these, these lavender-looking eyes and stuff.
Sapphire type eyes.
Sapphire.
They're blue, but like a sapphire type blue eyes.
And he takes a quick step back, and he says, you're one of those Aasimar folk, I see.
Indeed, I am.
And he says, you're making all sorts of friends out there these days, Gideon.
Indeed, I am. This man ignored me at one point, but clearly came to my aid at the same time, so...
Come to your aid. You have a rough night last night?
You know what? In your humbered sleep, you didn't realize that I had been out trying to capture very wanted criminal. I have a letter, indeed, that I need to show you.
A letter, huh? All right, then. Well, where is it?
It must be shown to you. Here it is, and I hand the letter.
You reach over to your pack and you hand him the letter. So he unravels it and he starts to read. And he says, okay, there's nothing unusual about this. This kind of thing happens all the time, but you see that he's kind of talking to himself as he's reading this, and he just keeps on reading. And you then see a look of concern come across his face.
Yes.
And he says, I don't know who this fellow is, but he's certainly planning something mischievous. And he says, Grand Master Cleric. Says, I don't know what kind of military rank that would be. I don't know what a Grand Master is. But the name Cleric, that does sound familiar.
What does it mean to you?
Well, let's see. He needs to make an intelligence check. It does sound familiar, but I cannot place it. Although I do know a few people I can ask. People who had been here for a while, who might know. It says, may I borrow this? I definitely think I know some people who would be interested in reading this.
To be honest with you, I have promised the scroll back to someone, and it's my word that I give. It has to be within haste. If not, then I must take the scroll back.
He says, but where did you get this scroll?
It was taken from a chest that I found deep within another lair that we discovered. Some criminal we apprehended that I gave to a fellow adventurer. However...
A lair? Like a cave? A hideout?
A hideout, yes. I searched his treasure chest and I found this letter. Clearly, I did not know what to do with it yet. I had issues with a companion of mine, but I needed you to see it first. If you take it, I need it back.
And he says, wait a minute. Yeah, this is labeled daily. You found daily?
There was a companion of ours that I was going to take him in myself, but we came to agreement that I would take this letter and he would take daily in, yes.
He says, but this scroll, this is evidence. You can't be promising things like that, Gideon. There is protocol. There is procedure.
Of course I wouldn't. Do you think I'm going to give this letter back to him? It's the promise I made to him, yet well kept between someone I do not know. However, protocol does proceed. How should we move forward with this letter?
Says, well, I think I should, there's a few people I could think of I can go talk to. Who are these people that you promised this letter to? I assume from the way that you were sounding, they were with you in this hideout?
Well, they are...
You can tell them that it's your brotherhood if you want.
I mean, yeah, I guess not really brotherhood.
That would probably
though, right?
ease the tension a bit because he certainly knows who the Azure Brotherhood is. And that's kind of
okay.
What
So yes,
hunters. So
they were. Well, they were part of the Brotherhood, the Azure Brotherhood. A few of them, at least. One was an apprentice. The other one, someone I met randomly in the street, but he seemed to be. Well, he's before you. We captured him, indeed, and we found this letter in his chest. Clearly, there's something going on. We need to know what's going to happen.
Yeah, indeed, I do agree. There is something amiss about this. The way that this daily was just seemingly a puppet for this Cleric fellow. Says, I do think I need to go and ask a few questions, though.
Where might you take this letter?
It's been important. 5 years since I've been out of Luxhold. I've forgotten some things.
Should I accompany you as we move with this information?
He says, Gideon, why didn't you say so in the first place? The Azure Brotherhood, we can trust them. He says that kind of changes things, actually. He says, so I assumed you gave custody over to the Azure Brotherhood.
Indeed I did. I made a deal for the scroll to give over custody to a certain young tyke, who I'm not quite fond of yet, but he seems well enough.
And he says, well, that is good. We trust the Azure Brotherhood to help keep things running smoothly in Tymria. Yes, we could perhaps manage to get this scroll back in the hands of this person that you mentioned. What is his or her name?
Well, let me check the Roll20 thingy.
What is a Roll20 thingy? What are you talking about?
Okay. Kalsheen, I believe, is his name. I think. I don't know. I don't really give too much of shit to the people I meet because I'm kind of an introvert.
I'm kind of an introvert.
Since you've left, as you've seen, I haven't kept this place up. I don't keep myself well, and you know what? Fuck everything at this point. But I believe his name was Kalsheen.
Balls laid down. That's awesome.
Oh, man. Okay, so he says, well, do you have a way to get a hold of this Kalsheen? Perhaps it'd be best if you went and, I believe you have the day off.
I do, yes, I do.
And he says, let me go talk to some people, and then I'll be right back.
Can I have the scroll? Or can you remember what you need to go to talk to people with?
And he hands you the scroll. He says, I can remember what I've read. Good enough.
Okay. Then I'll
So,
take the
yeah.
day off to go find Kalsheen to fulfill my promise.
Well, he says he's going to be back shortly. Like, he says, give me like an hour.
Okay.
So do you want to take off, or do you want to wait for him to get back?
I look at Gil and I say, Gil, I've made a promise of my manhood of word. I need to deliver this scroll back. It's designated. I need to take it back to the person I've made a promise with. Would you like to come with me and we go find Kalsheen or whatever his name is?
Kalsheen and Ashe would love to see our presence again. Let us go.
All right, and then we head out to look for Kalsheen.
Okay. So, of course, most obvious place is probably to go to the Azure Brotherhood.
Let's go to the hood and find
Okay. You get outside the front, and of course, there are some guards out front, and they say, "Hold! What business do you have with the Azure Brotherhood? We've not seen you here before. I hope there's no trouble, soldier."
Absolutely not. I am delivering yet a parcel to someone who desires it. His name is Kalsheen. Is he abode in this complex?
And, well, so Kalsheen, I can't imagine that when you get up in the morning and, I don't know, Ashe, if you made it back in time or not before Kalsheen woke up. Not really important. But,
It ain't?
well, if you want it to be important, then we
It
can
could
figure
be.
it out.
I mean, if she's sneaking out at night in the temple, that could pose some questions.
Well, the only problem is, I mean, the sun is by the time she can get back, it's definitely probably a little bit past the normal point of getting up. So there is a chance. Why don't you just go ahead and roll a perception? We'll just use a perception to see if maybe you're extra tired, or maybe you... I'm just going to do it against a certain DC here.
Perception.
See if you sleep in or whether you just wake up. And nope, you wake up. So you wake up and you're kind of, I don't know, maybe you say something to her, but she doesn't respond, and then you like go walk over there and the sock drawer is empty.
The socks.
Where are all my socks?
Where'd my socks go? Yeah, so Ashe is not there.
Interesting. So I guess he'll just he'll wait around for her to come back.
Okay.
Actually, does she need an escort to get back in?
I probably not.
So he'll probably just wait.
Probably not.
He'll wait another hour or two.
Just wait. So about 20 minutes of just kind of waiting, getting your gear together and looking through things. Ashe, you actually find that, again, especially in this temple, you easily manage to find your way back to those quarters that Kalsheen was staying at. Definitely this is kind of more of the lower ranking area of living quarters. No one really cares too much that a little child-looking girl is kind of walking around. Some people, as they pass by you, they kind of take a moment to stop. They do a double take, and then they notice all your weaponry and stuff, and then they realize their error in judgment, and then they continue on, not really thinking anything twice about it. But yeah, you managed to find your way back to Kalsheen's quarters and the door, and you open it, and you see Kalsheen already up inside. So the door opens, you see Ashe come in.
Hi, Kalsheen.
Hello.
And he says, well, little one, if you ain't up early, he says, I take it the sock drawer wasn't to your liking.
It was fine. I've slept in much worse places.
He says, very well. And he says, may I ask where you've been?
No.
Alrighty. There you go.
Nice.
Savage, bro.
Damn.
You going to persist, or are you going to just let it be?
He says, Ashe. And he says, I won't press it now. He says, but sometime in the future, we're going to have to be a bit more honest with each other with what we're doing if you're going to be my apprentice in the Azure Brotherhood. And he says, but for now, I will let it slide. And he says,
I was honest.
well, you know what he means. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Do you say that?
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. You're saying, what do you mean?
And he says, well, with us being partners, I think it's important that we know where our partners are going if they leave, if you know what I mean.
I find it's easier to live longer if you mind your own business.
Oh my goodness, dude. Mike is a fucking savage, bro. Are you
Did you just
kidding me?
threat?
That was a ballsy fucking statement.
It didn't seem threatening. It was just a statement of fact.
Yeah, it's like, bitch, mind your own business. Okay, I get it.
Bruh.
And he says, and he just kind of backs off. He says, very well. And he says, on with our day then.
Sounds good.
Okay, just a mental check note for probably Kalsheen. You know,
Yeah.
you're not going to press too hard. You know, you just kind of met her still.
Sure.
You just met her the day before.
Oh, yeah.
So
We'll give it some time.
you realize
you
sometimes
might be
people
thinking,
need to-
thinking like she's really bitchy for half.
Yeah.
For someone so small, she sure has a lot of frustrations built up. She
Yeah.
can't even share shit with the crowd.
Little bitch. No
Yeah,
big deal.
All right, so do you guys stick around the temple, Kalsheen? What are you doing this day? What are your plans?
Agenda to find out where the hell that note is.
Okay.
Which, did I ever go visit the house? Did I ever follow him to see like where our meetup is? I mean, it'd be kind of
I'm
fun.
actually looking for you, so I mean.
Where are you looking for me? I thought we established I was going to meet up at this dude's place.
No, I'm bringing Gil. We're looking for you.
Yeah,
You
but the
know
previous night, I think we established that they would come looking for you at Hughesbane's.
That's true. All right, Gil, we'll stay here and wait until Cal, whatever his fucking name is,
So
joins us.
Gil and Gideon, you guys walk out, and Gil says, Gideon, didn't they say they would come looking for us at Hughesbane's?
Indeed, they did. We will wait then,
Gideon,
and just
I think
go
you
ahead.
are
I'm
being-
sorry.
I think you are exhausted. Gideon, please take a rest. I will stand guard. I will watch.
Yeah, just kind of take it, again, just reemphasizing Gideon's kind of carefree attitude, and just kind of the whim in the moment, which I think kind of fits the idea that you were portraying Gideon and his backstory and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so it kind of escaped your mind, Gideon. Yeah, so you guys go back to just kind of wait. You kind of have the day off. You don't really want to spend your day off just sitting around waiting for these strange people to show up. But nevertheless, Hughesbane actually comes back. And he says, I did find out a few things, Gideon. And he sits down into this chair and he pulls out some dried bread and starts munching on it. And he says, this Cleric fellow is definitely dangerous. Sure enough, there's a bounty. There was a murder in Luxhold some years ago of some Azure Brotherhood member who tried to bring him in. Yeah, he's definitely a dangerous man. Definitely if this daily is taking orders from the likes of this Cleric. That definitely should be of interest to all of Tymria. And it says, how lucky it is for you to fall upon this information. He says, you still desire to be a Fate Lord, do you not?
Indeed, I do.
He says, well, lucky for you then, I pulled a few strings. And turns out, if you were to pursue this Cleric fellow, or at least this mission of this criminal, you will be bestowed the honor to become a Fate Lord.
Well, it definitely sounds interesting to me.
I must mind you, I had to kind of call in a few favors to make this happen. But do not disappoint me, Gideon. Do you truly desire to be a Fate Lord?
I slam my shield down and I say, Master, of course I do. You know me.
He says, then we must go to the temple then, to make it official. Says, I've actually already made the arrangements. They'll be there in about, in another hour.
But
now,
I have
here's
to
the interesting
wait, though.
thing. So sometimes with these Fate Lords, they're kind of like special ops type soldiers, if you will. Right? So you have like the normal soldiers, you have the military, the patrolmen, you have guards and captains and officers. But a Fate Lord is something special, right? A Fate Lord is kind of like a Marine. It's like this special ops figure who is seen to have the personal embrace of Tymria in his or her life. And a lot of times they will be committed to bring about a certain purpose for the good of the realm. Definitely, this Cleric fellow sounds pretty quite dangerous. These murders and other things, definitely of interest. But definitely could be a good pedestal or a springboard for Gideon if you want to accept it. There's other ways for you to be a Fate Lord, so if you don't want to have Gideon pursue this, don't feel like you have to. You can maybe say, I want to find my own path to become a Fate Lord. And that's okay. But
it's like a Navy SEAL.
If you think that Gideon would kind of get a thrill out of maybe traveling the realms through, Tymria, Mystica, wherever the adventure takes you, to try to track down this SOB, then this could be a very good opportunity for you to go ahead and go through the ceremony rite to officially become a Fate Lord.
That's definitely something I would like to do. However, I'm only level 2 and I can't become
No.
a Fate Lord until level 3.
That's all mechanical. That's mechanical. So roleplay wise in the story, there's nothing that can stop you from being a Fate Lord.
Okay, well I would.
Now, as long as you commit to me as a player that you're not going to change your mind and be like, I want to be a battle master.
No, well, actually, I do have. I accidentally have. What's the one that gets counters?
About the Purple Dragon Lord?
That's the Battle Master.
Battle Master. No, I have that on here, but I'm gonna delete it.
Okay.
So Purple Dragon Knight is what I want to be.
I better re-emphasize that because that would be annoying if I work this into the story and then you say, "No, brah, I want to be a Battle Lord."
Like, bruh.
Or a Battle Master. I mean,
I want to have
like,
fucking.
what?
No. You're right. No, I do want to be a.
Okay.
Purple Dragon Knight.
If you know that at level 3 you will be mechanically a Purple Dragon Knight, or what we call in Tymria, Tymric Knight, or
Tymric Knight,
Fate Lord.
Fate Lord, yep. I'm going to be, if he knows I want to be there, and I'm very dead set on being
Great. All right. That makes me happy. So, all right. So, he says that this is a huge opportunity, Gideon. He says, so go ahead, get your things, wear your best gear, and put on your best manners.
Okay. Well,
and he kind of chuckles to himself as he says that.
Give me some sort of like.
Yeah.
So you go to the nearest temple, which actually happens to be a little bit over. So Hughesbane's house is actually like kind of on the edge of this certain district. So it's actually the temple over, which is in the next district over, which would be the closest one, which coincidentally enough is the same temple that Kalsheen is staying at. So, but of course, Kalsheen is leaving to go to try to find Hughesbane's estate. At this, well, let's see. No, Hughesbane actually left for an hour and came back. So, question is, what time is all this happening? You know what? Screw it. Why not? I mean, this is Tymria. Lady Luck is having a play here, helping to pull the strings to make things happen.
Oh yeah.
So, you guys are about ready to depart to the temple, and there's a knock at the door. You spent like maybe a half hour to probably get your things together, wash up a bit, get something to eat, get ready to leave. Probably maybe take you 20 minutes to get there, 25 minutes to walk there. So, but there's a knock at the door. And Kalsheen, you're standing there and you knock and you kind of think, I thought Hughesbane was like a kind of a famous dude. Like, this place kind of looks run down. Like, kind of expected a bit more. I'm not sure I'm in the right place here.
Dump, are we in the hood? Like, what is this crap?
So, who opens the door? Gideon?
It would be me. Yeah, Hughesbane's still in the back of the room, so I would open the door.
All right, Gideon, you walk over, you hear footsteps on the other side of the door, Kalsheen, and the door opens, and you see a familiar-looking face. You see, definitely from his posture and everything, right away, it's Gideon.
He says, "How fares, good soldier?"
I see you have found a place of dwelling. Have you completed what you needed to?
You also look around, and you don't see Ashe anywhere.
Yeah, that little fucker's hiding somewhere.
Sorry, Mike, I took liberty of having Ashe.
I was like, what? What did I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Unless you want to be in plain sight, but I thought it'd be kind of comical if you were kind of right behind Kalsheen, and so they couldn't see you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, mine's doing the same thing, man.
Yeah, hopefully the power stays in for like another hour.
Hour, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you let Kalsheen in. Kalsheen comes in, and there's this big burly man who then walks in through the nearby adjoining room through the door, and he's munching something, some more food. You know, Hughesbane eats a lot. He walks in. You know, you can just feel the heavy boots stomp on the wooden floorboards and everything. No, who is this? More friends? And then he looks at you. You have a symbol of the Azure Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he spots
on my
that's what I thought.
Oh, on your lapel,
And he says,
you hit it earlier.
You must be Kalsheen.
And he says, you already hear the stories of me. And he says, please, I would.
And he says, no, just one story. The story that Gideon told me.
Oh.
Oh, well, okay then.
Says,
come in.
Stories, he says, the fame will come shortly. And he says, how fare do yourself?
Doing quite well, but Gideon did show me some alarming news here. The scroll that Daily Silver had upon him. This letter from this Cleric guy. Word has it that Cleric is truly dangerous and is a highly wanted man.
Kalsheen, he kind of sits there for a second. Yes, that seems to be the case, isn't it?
He says there are several families who are crying for justice.
In the midst, I would like to say, as promised, here is your letter back in your hand. I have already sought higher counsel. We will find a solution to this debacle well end, but right now is not the time. Huwever, I'm a man of my word. Here's your letter back.
And he says, I appreciate this. He says,
of
this
course.
Will come in handy.
Hughesbane then interjects and he says, of course. We do assume that you will pursue this with the utmost professionalism. That you will speak of this to no one about the pursuit of this Cleric guy.
He says, have no fear. That was my intent. In fact, I don't think I would live very long if I went around rambling about this situation.
No one else knows about this, do they?
I assure you it is just us, and whoever possibly you have told.
Who is that halfling linking behind you? You said no one. You're not gaining the trust of us quickly.
I said us.
Clearly he was concealed. Hiding behind you. Like a sneak thief trying to get into my house.
Nah, yeah, so I'm sure once Ashe went into the building, she wasn't really trying to hide anymore.
Okay. I thought
I
was
would
still
assume
trying to hide.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're meeting...
I'm just easy to...
Well, it's still somebody else that heard about it. Clearly, he said
said
nobody
us.
else.
Yeah, he
Nobody else but us. Right?
Okay, all right. Terminology, whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll me a deception? Wait, you did tell someone, though. Are you purposely being deceptive, or as a player you really have forgotten that you told someone?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
you
else have
told
I told?
He
Brazen.
didn't.
Resi or
You were
man?
clear to me
Oh,
that you weren't
Brazen.
telling anybody he was behind you, and he was sneaking in our
All right,
house.
well, let me rephrase my words. And he says, I assure you, nobody but else knows about Cleric and, of course, the Brotherhood. And he says, as he has a fine bounty on his head. He's on the board.
Who else?
Yeah.
He says, well, I would
No,
assume
that-
everyone.
okay. No, that's good. Yeah, so it makes sense that the Azure Brotherhood would know about the pursuit of it and stuff.
Bruh, the little the halfling
No,
is
yeah,
not
of course.
a part of.
Yeah, no, the Halfling's there. Ashe
I know,
is
but he's
there.
not a part of the Azorius Brotherhood, though.
Jeez, from what I
Not
told
to,
you,
not to, no, hold on.
As
First
far
off,
as,
not
as
to
far
our
as you know,
knowledge.
I am.
Not to our
Yeah,
knowledge.
as far as
I told you that she
Sorry.
was my apprentice into the
Yep,
Azure
yep.
Brotherhood.
yeah,
Not
that's
to
true.
Hoosbane's knowledge, at least, right? He doesn't know.
Well, if he wants
okay,
to
so now who is this little one right here? Down and he spots Ashe standing off to the side of Kalsheen.
He says, glad you asked. I'm surprised you guys finally noticed her. It's hard to spot this little one with her lurking about my legs. And he says, this one is...
Say so.
He says, this one
Lurking
is
about my legs.
This one is known as Ashe, and she is my apprentice in the Azure Brotherhood.
Okay, all right. Well, that's settled then.
By the way, I forgot to play it out. There was someone else I was going to have you meet at the Azure Brotherhood before you guys actually left to kind of make some official documentation of you sponsoring Ashe into the Brotherhood. So let's just say that actually happened. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Azure Brotherhood now knows that she's officially kind of like an apprentice, but they even say, well, okay, but it's going to be like a probationary thing. Let's let her help you on another mission or two before we actually let her in. You know, there's a lot of people who are wanting to be Azure Brotherhood members because it's kind of a
Right.
nice, cushy
Gotta do the
profession.
background checks, gotta have them prove their worth.
You know, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that
So
makes
they kind of
sense.
say,
Yeah.
it's great she went with you to bring in Daily Silver Eye, but let's see what else she can do, basically.
Right.
I would like to say this in response because Hoosbane knows me. I would like to say, yeah, indeed, this little one helped us ring in the information that I brought to you, Hoosbane. She is trustworthy.
Well, if you say so, Gideon, then I have no choice but to take your word for it.
Indeed,
Says,
my word is meant for it.
So, you guys actually come at just the right time. We were about to head to the temple.
Kalsheen asks, might I ask what for?
Well, Gideon here has decided to take the plunge and to officially become a Fate Lord.
My congrats!
Thank you.
And he says, I heard that is a rough profession. I hope he can endure it. And he says, I don't think I could.
Without doubt.
Heck yeah.
All right, so being at the temple and you're a cleric of Tymria, you can easily tarry along if you want. And you probably want to talk more about what business you guys are going to do about this Cleric and what ideas there are to do next. After the little ceremony to officially induct Gideon as into the Order of Fate Lords.
Where, for the purpose of your story, do you want me to go with it? Or can I go do what I have in mind?
You can go do what you have in mind. You don't have to be there. But you definitely... Okay, well, first tell me what you have in mind.
He wants to go pay a visit to Daily.
Okay, that's what I was assuming you were going to do. So
Yeah.
you could go do that. Do you want to have Gideon, the rest of them go with you, or you just want to go do it by yourself and Ashe?
You can persuade us to.
He just wants to go... Well, he's just going to go tell him if he has some business to attend to, and if they would like, we can meet up perhaps later at the temple.
Now, Daly already got handed off to the authorities, so you would definitely know got handed to more towards the center district of the city, which is where like the biggest dungeon holding cell area is for criminals. You would also know, being a bounty hunter for the Jor Brotherhood, that when there's criminals who are awaiting trial and a hearing, and when they've been taken into custody, they don't let people generally in there to meet with prisoners, especially before a trial. There's too many
Unless they're
documents that can happen.
escorted by Gideon.
So you would probably know that would be an obstacle, but you are a sweet talker.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it would be pretty difficult for someone, especially who doesn't have official, like the right rank within the guard and stuff, to actually go and visit a prisoner. Because you're a cleric, you're not part of the guard.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Casey, I wouldn't mind if somehow you convinced us to go. I would give rank to get there easily without your persuasion check.
Well, you're in transit to go get yourself.
That's a purple knight, but
Actually,
I'm still in the
Gideon,
guard.
you would know that you're an officer, but you're in a different district than the main central district. And the main central district is kind of like the highest ranked district. You actually would not yourself have the authority to go visit prisoners in there.
That seems fucked up, but okay, all right.
No, you're an officer, but remember, you just hit level 2. You're not going to have all this amazing privileges of like going anywhere you want.
No,
Okay, so
I got
there's lots of
action surge.
Okay, so as
I got lucky dice.
But there is someone you know that probably does have the right rank and
all right,
prestige.
who's Bane?
Whoa.
Maybe you should talk to Who's Bane and see if maybe he might escort you to the prison cells.
Whoa! You guys don't know where I'm going. I haven't told shit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that in character, but if you want to talk about it to us, we might be able to make the story happen.
Yeah, he wants to keep it from you guys for now.
Okay.
You fucking
Okay,
sneak.
so you're gonna say, okay, well, have fun with that. Basically, you're gonna let them go to the temple, and then Kalsheen, you and Ashe are then gonna go. You're gonna try to pursue the scroll, and you're gonna go to the center district and try to seek audience with the prisoner Daily Silvereye. Does that sum it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're splitting up again?
I will actually leave Gideon's side because obviously he's going to get nominated for something. So I'm going to go visit the nearest medical shop if I can.
So you're going to visit who?
Medical.
Next
The nearest medical shop?
Medical shop or medicine shop if I can.
I would imagine there's medical type things you could buy at the temple.
Okay. So
Yeah, herbs and stuff. Herbs.
Yeah.
We got herbs and ropes, and we got everything, man.
There are indeed other shops, but I think probably that would be good business for the temple to have a shop within there that sells stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm on my way to the temple.
Yeah, well, how dare you try to leave my side, motherfucker? You're trying to be my friend and you leave me?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be at the temple. He's just going to, when you guys get there, he's going to go and maybe...
Oh, I know. But he was about to leave. I'm just joking. All right.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to talk about how you're going to meet back up?
Yeah. Let me tell. Actually, Casey should probably initiate that conversation since he's the one who's going to leave.
Well, yeah. So, Kalsheen, you're going to take off. So, how are you going to? He's going to go through the ceremony thing.
Is there a reason to meet up again?
Of course there is.
Like, in-game?
Barry, would he tell you? I mean...
Well...
How about this?
Do you just want to go live your own life? Do you just want to leave these guys alone?
I'm just trying to figure out.
Hold on, man. I gave you the scroll. You met up at my house, right? Let's think about what makes sense here. Clearly, we did a lot of shit together already as a group. How about this? My character says, once I become a Fate Lord, which I will be, meet back up here in 3 hours at my place to determine how we're going to pursue
Sure.
What's his name?
Leoric. Leoric.
Lorik.
So, yeah, Gideon would probably also explain
Lyric.
that part of him being a Fate Lord is that's kind of going to be his focus, is to try to bring down the Cleric guy, because it turns out he's super dangerous. There's some high prominent families in Luxhold that want to see this guy brought in.
And
Yep.
he says, wait a minute. He says, your initiation into being a Fate Lord is you have to take this guy down?
Absolutely not. It's a stepping stone.
Well,
One of many.
It's a stepping stone. One of many. Yep.
And he looks at you a bit sternly and he says, you are aware of his bounty, correct? And the people he has killed, and
They don't know how much the bounty is.
I am not focused on bounties, young one. I'm clearly focused on what's duty and what's right. Families have been torn apart. People have been killed. I'm going to get advanced skills in order to take this fucker down. Will you join me and meet me in 3 hours or not?
How old are you?
He says, easy. He says,
30s, I think.
He says, I will meet you back here in 3 hours, of course. And he says, after I carry on with my duties. And he says, good luck with your, whatever the hell the initiation. Yeah.
Good luck with whatever the hell.
Gideon's 25.
Yeah, okay, I'm mid-20s. My thanks. Good luck to you on your adventure.
All right, so you guys depart. Kalsheen and Ashe leave the party.
It's kind of fast. It's kind of fast travel areas.
All right, yeah. So you guys, Gideon and Gil, you guys get to the temple.
Okay, so immediately after we get to the temple, I guess I'll go to the shop and.
Yep. Would you want to buy a healing kit?
Yeah, actually, I want to buy. How much are healing kits?
Wait, one second, bro. Can I buy some shit too?
You're going for your initiation.
Yeah. Oh, you have some time.
I'm like on my way.
You
I'm
have
like,
some
it's
time.
like a dude like trying to sell a
just right
Pepsi
there.
to me.
Yeah. What do you want to buy?
What does he have to sell?
A Vorpal sword +3.
Wait, you're wanting to sell stuff or just buy stuff?
No, what does he have to sell? What does the vendor there have to sell?
Some herbs, some salves, healing kits. There are some healing potions.
What about like plate armor? Is that a real thing?
No, that's not. You're not gonna find that at the temple.
Yeah, we're too broke.
It's also really expensive.
Yeah, we're way too right.
Yeah.
Bro, you ain't gonna find any plate armor around here.
I think it's like
Fuck
500
you
or
talking
600
about.
gold.
That's
Okay,
like
so-
750 gold.
Man, I could borrow the gold. I could find a bank and get a loan or something.
Okay, so to the DM, how much are healing kits in this temple?
I think it's
How
in
much-
the book, right?
Wait, can healing potions be used on other people if I use them?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, you pour
Okay.
it down their throat generally if they're
Yeah, I'm like,
unconscious.
bitch, take this fucking potion.
If they're alive, then you probably would just give it to them.
Right.
All right. So, yeah, we need to know the prices of the items at this vendor.
Well, you
Huh.
can.
I'm putting healing kit into the compendium and it's not pulling it up. So if
Yeah,
you
it
look
doesn't-
at,
It doesn't work. It doesn't. I already tried. It doesn't work.
Yeah,
well,
it's-
look in your
it's-
handbook. Whatever the price is, just mark that much gold off, or whatever.
That's the problem of the original.
Yeah, it's not popping up. That's the thing.
And the
It's
original.
5 gold pieces and it weighs 3 pounds.
5 gold pieces.
Yep.
And that's
it weighs
and that's
3
for and that's for 10 uses, if I remember correctly.
I would
That's
have.
correct.
I would have to read about it. Yeah. I
Now
think
remember,
it is.
you don't have the healer feat, Gil. So unlike your previous paladin, where you did have that, you can only use the healing kit to stabilize people.
Right.
You cannot restore hit points with a healing kit.
So I have 4
I think.
medicine. So no, I have.
Yeah, no,
4.
you're right. Yeah, the kit has 10
Yeah.
uses. As an action, you can expend 1 use
But-
kit to stabilize a creature that has 0 hit points without needing to make a wisdom medicine check.
What about the potion, though? Can the potion stabilize?
Oh, absolutely, because it restores hit points.
It also
okay.
costs a lot more.
Then how much does the potion cost?
The healing potions, 50 gold each for a basic healing
Oh,
potion.
Jesus, dude. I only have
Yeah.
20 gold.
Well, you gave a bunch of it away. You would
I
have
know. Jeremy, do you have 50 gold?
Bad.
Oh, I have 57 gold only.
Buy 1 fucking healing potion.
Hey Barry, can I buy one too? Just like
Potion of
That's what I understand. I don't remember me having healing feet.
Well, actually, Ashe and Kalsheen, you guys were, you can stop by a shop, whatever. Let's not worry about it. If you want to buy a healing potion, go ahead. Just mark off the 50 gold and put healing potion and healing potion to
Jeremy,
2d4 plus 2.
Buy that fucking healing
what?
potion, dude.
No, I'm trying to figure out why.
You don't have the healing feet, dude. Just buy the fucking potion.
Yeah, healing potions heal for 2d4 plus 2, I believe.
Oh, 2d4 plus 2. Okay.
Yep, 2d4 plus 2.
It could come through in a fucking miracle moment. We don't know.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Being a cleric probably doesn't hurt to have a healing potion on board.
And I will give you the 50 gold back if it doesn't work out for you.
Okay, so I will go down to 7 gold, and I will give myself 1 healing.
I'll buy one too. Although, wait, there's not really an event that's coming up where I need it. Never mind.
So you're down to how much gold, Gil? 7?
7 gold.
7 gold, yeah.
That down. I see right now you have 15 gold.
No, I did not.
he had-
No, remember, I gave Kalsheen 5 pieces last game,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and Gideon gave me 50 gold
Yep.
because he decided, because I said I don't want any gold, and he gave me 50 gold anyway.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how
So
much?
So technically I have 60.
Okay, so update your character sheet because there's a spot for you to track gold. You don't have to track it separately. It's there on your character sheet. See
Under
the
equip-
equipment? There's GP. That's
Okay.
gold. You have 15 in there right now. So adjust it to 7.
Okay, so I have 60 minus
Also,
50,
see
so I have
if
10.
Healing potion is in here. Healing potion.
Okay, so I actually have 10. I'm sorry, Barry.
Okay, so you have 10 gold left, and write down on your equipment or
Oh, potion of healing. Okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
or under treasure on your bio part of your tab.
Yep.
Core bio spells under bio down below on treasure you could put
Just healing potion.
Yep.
No, well, potion of healing.
Potion of healing. Yeah.
Do a plus on your equipment and throw a potion of healing right into that motherfucker.
Potion of healing.
What's the weight on it?
Half a
30
pound.
pounds. No, I'm just joking. All right,
Okay,
so you going
Barry,
in?
Barry, so a healing potion restores what? If
2d4 plus 2.
Oh shit, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Personal or use on others. That's a really good fucking item. Oh my god, dude.
Well, 50 gold.
1 through
Can't-
5, it's a pretty good potion.
Low level.
Yeah, that's
it's
fucking
definitely
dope, man.
super helpful.
Yep.
Let's grab a couple of those. I wish I had 50 fucking gold. I only have 20.
I really thought I had a healing trait.
Wait,
So
can I
just so you
give
know
them?
too, I always try to have interesting things for players to spend their money on too, by the way. So sometimes it's fun to play a character that doesn't care about money and you just dump it all off and who cares. But just so you know, there's probably going to be times throughout your character's journey where there's going to be things that you're probably going to want, but it's going to be too expensive and you're not going to have the money for it. So I kind of like throwing interesting items in that cost a fair amount of money to make money more valuable and kind of desirable to have.
Is that like the dream I had with this like crazy mace that I had in my hand? Something like that?
Uh-oh. Did Jeremy lose power?
Yeah, just a quick flicker. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Alright, no, I'm saving my money for a fucking mace, bro. I'm getting a fucking good weapon.
Yeah, depends. I mean, definitely if you ventured into the kingdom of Mystica, that's an ideal kingdom to actually have Arcana shops with all sorts of magical types of things that might be for sale.
Is there a shop I can shop at right now that might have a mace that is
There's
20,
no way
20
you nearly have them for a
Yeah,
magical
dude.
mace.
Okay,
Not a
alright.
chance.
Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to ask. Okay.
Okay,
alright.
so I guess so to the DM, since I have a healing, or actually since I have a medicine skill bonus, does that apply to anything? I guess.
When you do medicine checks, which there's various reasons
I
why
would-
you would do a
yeah.
medicine check, but
What-
the healing
how
kit
here?
just lets you bypass that check, which with a check you can fail, right? So with the healing
Right.
kit, you just automatically expend a use, and you can automatically stabilize someone who's at 0 hit points. Assuming, under my rule system, they don't have a bleed. If they have a bleed, you still need to get that bleed fixed up before you can use that healing kit to really stabilize.
Ugh.
And so how many people bought a fucking potion of healing?
Ashe bought one, and I believe Jeremy bought one.
Yes,
Casey bought one
Gil.
too, didn't you, Casey?
Nope.
He doesn't have enough money, I don't think.
No, I
Yeah,
do.
bro.
I just don't have a good reason right now.
I thought you only had like 25 gold left because you gave
have 80
all of it
gold.
away.
No, I didn't give all of it away.
Wait, you don't want to
Oh,
buy
that's right.
one?
You got
Why wouldn't you want to buy one, man? It's when you run out of healing, you run out of spells. It's a fucking huge heal effect
The
towards your fucking...
infamous Kalsheen has no need for such revelry.
Okay, whatever. For such alchemy, cancerous
going?
magic.
How's it going?
All right, whatever. When we all die, and all we needed was fucking Casey to fucking heal us.
Okay, so Barry, even if I have a healing kit, I can, even though I can't use it in combat like I could the last campaign.
Whoa, no. You can use a
It's an action.
Yeah, it's an action. You can use a healing kit in combat. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking action. It's like you were to attack, but you just use your item.
It's an action. Yeah.
Okay, so I will go ahead and just buy one anyway. So I will go down to.
It's not bad to have.
I will go ahead and go down to 5 gold.
But Casey, you
Okay.
know what? Whatever.
Yep. Write it down, and then see on other resource, I'll just put healing kit.
That heals a lot, actually. 2d4 plus 2.
And then we just put 10.
It's good healing potion, levels 1 through 4 or 5. Yeah.
So what that 10 means is that's number of uses. So I already put it on your sheet, Gil. So under the resources, healing kit 10. So every time you use it, you just mark off a use.
All right, I will not buy anything at this little vendor, and I'm done.
Okay,
And it does take weight, so you want to put a healing kit.
3 pounds.
It's 3 pounds.
Yep.
I'll do it, Gil.
Thanks, man. I'm sorry, I'm losing power here, unfortunately.
That's okay. I noticed there's like a flicker. Keeps flickering.
Yeah, man, I'm fucking flickering. Like, I'm noticing. Just this lightning is insane over here. Man.
Dude, the bayou behind me has like 9 tents. It's about to go over.
Yeah. Don't let that.
Jeez. All right, let's try to hurry along a bit farther here, since it's getting late and the storm is probably nasty. All right, so let's play out. What do we want to do? Do we want to do Ashe and Kalsheen trying to go see Daily Silvereye, or do we want to do the ceremony?
Ceremony sounds good.
See the ceremony.
Okay. All right, so you guys, you do your purchasing of your healing kit and your other stuff that you wanted to get there, Gil, and you go into this waiting hall, and after a while, you guys are waiting there, and someone comes in. Someone definitely decked out in these ceremonial robes, and you just see these platinum-like coins, the symbols adorned all over their chest. Definitely, probably some sort of ranking indication within the priesthood of Tymria. And this man says, "We are ready for you now. I believe you were Gideon." And he holds out a hand to like shake your hand.
I shake thy hand. I am ready.
And he says, "Excellent." He says, "Go ahead and have a seat up front, and we will begin shortly."
I will take a seat in the back.
And then, as you, you're gonna take a seat.
All
right. So as you go in, you then hear Hughesbane just kind of whisper the best that he can, but you overhear it says, "I appreciate you doing this on such short notice." "Oh, it's fine, Hughesbane. You have helped me so much in the past. It's the least I can do." And he says, and then as you're walking, you hear him say, "Do you really think he's ready?" And Hughesbane says, "Well, only Tymria really knows that, I think." And Hughesbane is the previous day or couple days ago. When he came back, he expressed his frustration about you, Gideon, already. About how you just kind of were just complacent and lazy and not really doing much. And you kind of let his estate just kind of go to pot. But he seems to be lighting a fire underneath you, kind of forcing you down this path to like do something with your life. But you also realize he believes in you. Either you can be insulted or you could take it as a compliment, up to you. But he definitely seems like he has faith in you and believes in your potential. And so, yeah, he cares.
Yeah, yep, I get that from Husband, absolutely.
And he definitely treats you like you're his own son,
Yeah, I
So-
feel like a fucking apprentice or a father, he's a father figure. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So you sit up in the front pew, and there's some other people in there, some observers, and there's a few priests that then walk in. And there is a bard in there, and he starts to play on this lute, and just strumming these arpeggios. He's not singing, he's just playing this very melodic music, and it's just ringing out. Definitely quite the entertainer, and he just amazing just sounds coming from this instrument. Definitely you would expect no less for a temple of Tymria to, entertain and impress. No doubt there's probably visitors in there who were just wanting to see the spectacle of the commendation of a Fate Lord. Definitely something they could go home in Mystica and tell people about how they witnessed it. So, of course, for a price, they probably paid for a ticket or something to see it. So
Heck
you
yeah.
enter, and there's the man who said, "Oh, we're going to start soon." He gets back behind. There's like this altar, and it's just this this basin, and the basin kind of seems like it was fashioned to be this gigantic silver coin, but it was molded upward but when you look at the rim and everything, you're like, wow, that looks like like the biggest coin I've ever seen. But it's like it was just molded to be shaped upward to form like a bowl. And he comes in and he starts to pour water into it, and he starts saying a prayer, and basically it's holy water, right? And as he's saying these prayers to Tymria over it, Lady Tymria, at this time we would like you to prepare this water to induct one into your ranks and into your fold, into your loving arms, a potential new Fate Lord, a devout follower of thee. And, and he's pouring this water in from this kind of like this water skin, this pitcher. And as he finishes his prayer, just kind of bows his head and takes a moment, and then he steps away and he looks up and he says, "Right then, I think we're all ready then." And the music, he nods at the bard, and the bard stops his playing. Husbane, everyone else is sitting in the pews. You're in the front row. And do you have like a last name? Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Milbevy?
Levy, yep.
Okay, and he calls out and he says, at this time, on the 7th, actually it would be the 20th, on the 20th of Radian, year 157 past the breaking, Gideon Meldevi, would you please arise and approach the altar?
Yeah, I rise.
And you walk over towards the altar, and he says, "Gideon Melbevi, now will you please kneel?"
I kneel.
Okay, and you kneel before the altar, and you kind of reverently kind of like bow your head a bit. And he says, "Gideon, do you rightfully and honestly can you say that you have felt the embrace of Tymria's influence in your life?"
Her love has been my passion. I indeed feel her passion through my life.
Do you feel that you can serve the Lady Luck Tymria for the rest of your days?
Lady Luck will always be on my side as long as I believe in the goddess herself.
And then he says, "Do you promise to take hold of the mission that the kingdom has called upon you, and thus the Lady High Tymria has called upon you at this time?"
I do, with 100% respect.
And he says, now rise. And so you stand up, and then he bids you to step a little bit closer to the basin. And you then see him drop. He reaches into a pouch, and he then says, now if you place your head over the basin.
Okay.
And he reaches in and grabs a handful of these coins. Like you can tell they're coins because of the sound that they're making as he's jingling them about. Definitely the jingling of coins is something a Tymrian knows all too well. And he pulls it out and he reaches them above your head and he just starts
Shekels.
letting them go, and the coins fall over your head and splash into the water. And then he says, let it be known that not a single coin has fallen to the floor. Lady Tymria has accepted you as Fate Lord Gideon Melbevi, as long as you follow your covenant and your path, and to seek opportunities that Tymria will lay before you. You are indeed a Fate Lord. And you're kind of looking around, and sure enough, and then you're thinking, oh yeah, stories about this when I was a youth, how some people would try to become a Fate Lord, but if it was not Tymria's will, then coins would bounce off the person's head and fall onto the floor. And if a single coin bounces off the person's head and does not land in the basin, then they cannot be a Fate Lord. And you're just kind of breathing a sigh of relief, like, yes, Tymria accepts me. She accepts me. And
this was a huge, nut-busting moment for me.
Yeah.
So
there's one more promise that's you have to make. Do you also promise to help guide others to feel the loving embrace of Lady Luck Tymria?
I do.
Okay, that was the other one that I missed. Yeah, so he says, congratulations, Gideon. Says, I believe you've already been instructed as to your chosen path at this time.
Bro, I want to fucking oh my god, it's such an amazing endowment. It's so great. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, he and you're kind of lost in thought, and you're just kind of like, but these visions kind of pop through your head, that dream you had the previous night of all the destruction and the death and the chaos that was going on, and you keep picturing Gil-Galad down there at the bottom of this cliff, buffeting away these flames from this beast up in the sky, and you're just kind of like, you feel this warmth just spread all throughout you, like this is your path, this is what you've been chosen to do. And you kind of, in a way, you're kind of having a moment of regret go through you, that what have I been doing for the past 5 years of my life? Hughes-Bane is right. I am destined for better than this. And you, at this moment, and the way that you're feeling right now, you totally believe it, and you are pumped and excited to start down that path.
I absolutely am. Unbelievable.
All right. So, with that, some people, as this priest up there, a luck bringer, actually, he's a luck bringer, he outstretches his arms, and he says, and the ceremony is finished. He says, if you would like to leave an extra donation on your way out, folks.
Of course he would.
Lady
I feel like
Tymria
the
would
realm
very
of
much
fucking...
appreciate
Oh my
it.
god, dude.
Just watch some coins on a dude's head, and now they're like, want donations.
By the way, I'm $12 million in debt. If anybody wants to dunk a coin into my fucking pot here, that'd be great.
Well, and he says, and may Tymria bless you with riches on this day.
Hell yeah.
If you do. And, yeah, and so people...
Wait, is this I gotta ask you, is this a fucking broken religion of people who are using greed and money as a way to hoard people in to
No, so Tymria believes that it's about luck, but it's also certain necessities of life. There's going to be greed in society.
But there are really fucked up people in this society who are trying to what's that? Hey Jeremy, what's the preacher in off I-10 in Houston? What's his name?
Are you talking about Joel Osteen?
Joel Osteen. what do they call them?
He's a mega church. Basically, he likes donations and stuff like that. And
Yeah, they're like super donations. All the more you donate, the better God's gonna give
so the
back to
difference
you.
here
Like
is,
that's what I'm saying. Like that's all fucked up to me.
These priests aren't promising like personal salvation and glory and stuff by your donation.
Posterity.
Like, give me more money and your sins will be forgiven.
Posterity priesters.
This is more, hey, if you give a donation to Tymria, then maybe she will bless you when you play that game where,
Okay, so
people are there specifically to be entertained
I don't
and
know
to have a
what the
good time.
difference. That seems like the same thing to me.
It's different because people are choosing to go there to have a good time and be entertained.
So basically, with Tymria, it's a 50-50 chance that she may or may not help you.
Tymria is the religion
Lady
of
Luck.
Las Vegas.
She's luck, bro. She's a 50-50 bitch, dude. That's what she does.
Like just picture Las Vegas. I mean, and
Las
they
Vegas,
realize,
bro.
Oh, you roll the slots, you lose. You roll the slots, all of a sudden you are praised by a god, apparently.
Any game you can think of that there's a market like interest in, Tymrians will find a way to create the game and make it possible because they want people to travel. Remember, this is a hard, rugged area. It's very hard to get to Luxhold, and there's not a whole lot of places. Tymria is like the smallest kingdom. Basically in the entire world. Like Tymria is definitely the smallest kingdom.
Gotta make it good somehow.
Per capita, it's also the richest, but that's kind of partly because of all the rich budding mages from Mystica who are greedy and they think they're going to strike it rich, and it's just become kind of a way of life for the past 157 years.
And
they realize, hey, if there's
I thought it was like 30 years or something. 157 years. Holy shit, bro.
So it's been 157 years since the coming of the gods.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Anyway.
I am now a purple dragon knight.
Well, yeah.
Or a Tymrian knight, Fate Lord. Yeah.
All right. So that was that.
That means I'm level 3, right?
No, you are not level 3.
Okay.
Nice try. You're level 2. Mechanically, you're not going to notice anything until level 3, but maybe Tymria needs to smile on you a little bit more, and then you will be blessed with some additional abilities.
All right.
So Ashe and Kalsheen, you leave everyone else behind, and you go towards the center district. The center district is definitely where the biggest temple is, and it's also the headquarters of a lot of the government heads. There's a council that rules in Tymria. Like there's one for each district, and they kind of come together and they manage the affairs, and they all try to help each other manage problems within a district itself. Every district kind of has like a bad neighborhood, a good area. They host their own special events. They'll talk about things like maybe have tournaments where certain districts will combine and come together. And, they're always trying to think of ways to bring in additional revenue to help the citizens of Tymria. And that's kind of the important point too. What's the problem? There's nothing in the Tymrians' mind. There's nothing wrong with playing off the greed of the Mysticans who come into the kingdom to try to strike it rich with greed, right? But playing off of that to get them to donate and spend more and more money, because ultimately it's going to help the citizens of Tymria be the best that it can be, because it's a hard place to live. Everything is kind of all in Luxhold. There's surrounding villages where there's some mining, but that's all they got going for them.
So the income is really from everyone else.
Yeah.
It's from other countries and stuff like that. They really have nothing going for themselves. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's some resources that
some resources, but it's mostly coming from other countries.
Yeah. Okay. Like their good way of life is definitely coming from all the revenue that they're bringing in from all the travelers.
Yeah.
So they just want to make sure people have a good time because they want them to come back. I mean, if Tymria is seen as a hard, rugged place to get to and it's not worth it because it sucks, no one's going to want to come to Luxhold. So they want people to feel like it's worth the dangerous journey to get there because, you're going to have so much fun. It's such a great place to be.
Right.
And remember, during the winter months, the roads are impassable. So you can't really get there unless you fly, I guess. But
yeah, teleport, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, you get down to the center district, and you, Kalsheen and Ashe, you guys. Let me scroll to the right part here. Okay, so you get to. So as I was explaining, there's like kind of like a big palace-y like area, which is more for government affairs and stuff. But near there is kind of like this massive fortification, and that is like the judging house. And attached to there is underground, or like the dungeons. There's all sorts of stories about the dungeons. Hardly many people have really commented about what it looks like and what it's really like under there. It's not really a place you want to be. They definitely don't believe in treating their prisoners nice, especially if they're pretty certain that they're guilty. Wanted for the horrible crimes, or if they're kind of like a thug. It's just really minimum living conditions. Drafty, cold. They don't really give them much. They kind of feel like, well, if you're not going to honor our way of life, then screw you, basically, right? So, you approach Kalsheen, the front part here of this fortification. There's definitely guards, and they say, a trickster. Welcome, one of Tymria. So, what you are wanting to go inside from the look on your face?
Oh, yes. Unfortunately, I don't want to be here. No offense to you, sirs. And he says, I am obligated to get some for Sir Hughesbane, if you've ever heard of him. And he says, I have to speak to a prisoner.
Yes, I've heard of Hughesbane. So, what prisoner you wanted to see? You are not a luck bringer. Says you are a trickster. I do admire that. Don't get me wrong, but it is against policy to allow those unauthorized entrance inside.
And he says, and he's kind of stops there, and he bit curious look on his face, and he says, how much do you know of Hughesbane? And he says, he asks,
only a few things. I know he's been gone for some time. Don't know how long it was, but stories say that he's traveled all over Mystica. No doubt he's seen many wonders.
And he kind of processes that, and he reaches into a sack, and he says, what if I told you that letting me in would not only prosper Hughesbane, but it would greatly help the kingdom of Tymria prosper as well. And he says, and of course, if one were to let me in, might not only they get a promotion and maybe a good word from Hughesbane himself. And then he gestures 5 gold at the guard.
So, I'm thinking that's definitely a deception.
Definitely a bribe.
So, roll me a deception.
A deception? For sure.
Yep.
Alright. Oh, I am re-rolling that shit.
Can you do luck? Can you do a
roll?
luck roll?
Yep, I'm using a lucky. Oh my god.
Can you lose? Can you
better
use a luck roll on this?
dude.
Oh,
I'm
use
gonna laugh
another
if you
one.
rolled another one. Holy crap!
Yeah, I was gonna be upset.
You might want to use one more luck roll, bro.
No, you can't do it in a row.
Nope. He
Wait,
looks
you
at it
can't-
as you're saying these words, and you pull out these 5 gold coins.
Yeah.
And he looks at it, and you see him just narrow his gaze, and he says, "What in the 9 hells do you think you're doing, trickster?" Says, you seek to undermine the very fabric of our society? What the hell is this? And he says, "Get this coinage away from me," and he slaps your hand, and the coins go flying across onto the ground. And he says, "Be gone from here."
Oh, damn.
Hughesbane would not send someone to do this against all authority.
Make sure to pick your coins up, bro.
Bribes are the fabric of this society. Whatever.
You need me, man. Send word for me. Let me come here.
Barry must have rolled horrible. Holy crap. Oh, damn. Okay.
Wow.
He says, feel free to speak no more. I will go get word from him myself, and you will believe me. And he says, I hope I did not disturb your day. And he gives a farewell, and he goes and picks up the coins, and he walks off.
Dude, he's gonna be like,
I was
bitch.
hoping you'd make it inside. Oh well.
That freaking
That-
one roll.
So he has to go retrieve who's Bane and I?
So pick up your 5 coins and
Picked up the 5 coins, and he's just
wow.
not going his way so far.
Crap.
And he says, rats. And he says, I actually have to go talk to him now.
Silver tongue didn't work that time.
And he says, no, it must be one of those off days. I get those once in a while, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And he says,
Yeah.
hopefully Lady Luckwell see me through this, though. She always does.
Yeah.
And he says, I guess let us go commence and find Hughesbane. Perhaps he can be of assistance.
Oh, good. More walking.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now you got to travel all the way, probably to Hughesbane's estate. That would probably be the
Probably be the
closest.
best
You don't
thing
want to
would
go all
be.
the way to the
Yeah.
temple because that's even farther
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Because you're at the center district. So
Yeah.
definitely by the time you get to Hughesbane's estate, the rest of everyone else is already back at Hughesbane's.
Oh, geez, it took that long.
Maybe to celebrate him being a Fate Lord, maybe you guys go out for a drink.
I said we'd meet up back at your place, you motherfucker. You better not.
In 3 hours, I think is what you guys said, right?
Yeah, 3 hours.
Yeah,
Well,
so I guess I'll say that Gideon alcoholic beverages, and we go to...
Dang it, you cut out a second.
Yeah, you
there,
broke
man.
out, bro.
I couldn't hear anything that you said. Say that again?
So I'm guessing on our way back to kind of celebrate Gideon's promotion, we stop by a local alcohol store or something like that, and we gain, I don't know, I guess I'll spend the gold on...
Sure, there's
Alcohol.
a tavern. Absolutely. There's lots of taverns around. You can just walk into one
man.
and you can just
You
get a
party
couple
at a
drinks.
tavern,
Yeah.
you stay in a
I
tavern.
think,
No,
I
no,
think
no,
one
no,
gold might buy us a shot, but not a bottle for these people to meet us
No,
back
no,
with.
no. We don't stay in the tavern. We just buy one on the go to go back to Hughesbane's house. And we'll
Well, I
celebrate
gotta.
there.
There's an open container policy that... No, I'm just...
There's yeah. Do
Yeah.
you have your license with you?
There's no walking while drinking in this.
There's no walking.
Yeah, there's no.
No, it's just
Well, hold on. We spent the gold, didn't we? So we gotta minus
Yeah.
the gold.
All
I
right,
go-
so yeah, you get a bottle of really nice ale for that.
19.
For that gold. Maybe not really nice, but decent enough.
Enough to get us fucked up. All right, no big deal.
human.
The bartender says, word has it, this stuff is some of the gnomes' finest ale.
I care not of the gnomes. I care
Yeah.
about getting fucked because I really just. Well, actually, hold on.
That's different.
I've became something better than to get fucked by some worthless gnome drink.
All right, so yeah, whatever it is, so it's a bottle of ale. So, all right, so you guys enjoy the drink on your way back to Hughesbane's, and you make it back, and you're there for maybe an hour, and then finally Ashe and Kalsheen show up. And at this point, it's like 2:00 in the afternoon, I'd probably say.
Okay.
Oh
shit, we're
yeah.
drinking early, man.
I would say 2:00. Well, just a quick
I
small
thought it was
drink.
in the night.
It was a bottle
I thought
for
it was
the
nighttime.
the 3 of you.
No.
No, it was morning.
Oh my goodness, man. That was fucking okay.
Yeah.
Early
It was like
drinkers. All
2 in the
right.
afternoon. So definitely not nighttime yet. All right, so Kalsheen and Ashe show up. There's a knock at the door. You answer it. Kalsheen and Ashe come in. All right, so you never said where you were going, so
Yeah.
you show up. So what do you say? You
Actually-
definitely see that Gideon seems to be carrying himself with confidence. Like he seems to be like in a really good mood, which is kind of interesting to you.
Yeah.
You can kind of feel his pride, his happiness.
That's true. I got a drink in me.
Actually, so I guess I'll be, since he's drinking, I guess I'll be the one to answer the door. And
Okay.
of course, Kalsheen and I greet each other. It's like, we have this thing called ale. Maybe you'll like a drink. Grab yourself a cup, and I shall pour you some. Ashe, please grab a cup too. We are celebrating Gideon's promotion.
As you're saying that, you've noticed Ashe is already sprinting towards Cup.
Just
Like,
He's already sprinting towards the fucking barrel of ale.
Okay.
So I guess I'll pour everybody around and stuff like that, and take to Gideon.
Yep. And he's
Cheers.
been hearing that people have entered in. He comes around the corner and he has a mug already, and he has another bottle that he had in the back, and he's pouring it. And he says, no, this is the good stuff. And he says, Kalsheen and Ashe. And he says, to Gideon. And he raises his mug up high. And he like kind of clacks his mug up against your bottle and stuff, and your goblets or whatever. And he starts chugging away. Says, happy times, good day. And says, I take that everything is in order for you now. Get down to business. And he sits down in a chair, and there's a table there, and he puts his mug down. And he says, right then, so, order of business to talk about. What are we going to do about this Cleric?
And he said, and Kalsheen at that, he said, I'm glad you asked, because I actually have an idea. And he says, actually, part of my last order of business to attend to was to gather some more information about that, but an obstacle came in the way, as you see, one that I think myself alone cannot fix. And he kind of gives a look over at Hughesbane.
And he says, and what would that be? Not sure what you're getting at looking at me like that, Kalsheen. Making me a little bit uncomfortable.
I would actually probably be like, why the fuck are you looking at him like that, sort of thing, too? Like, my character...
He says, pardon me, I was merely waiting for you to ask what it was. And he says, but I will tell you nonetheless. And he says, I am merely wanting to visit daily. And he says in his cell to maybe try to get some more information out of him using this note. And he says, as you can see, I had good intentions, for that is the reason why I wanted the note. And he gestures over at Gideon at that. And he says,
indeed, his intentions seem real, I will admit.
However, I did not want to trouble you guys in this affair, as I thought maybe I could deal with it myself and just report back to you on the news. But the guard out front seems a bit indifferent at that. And he says he found my...
Hughesbane cocks ahead, and he says, you didn't try to bribe him, did you?
And he says...
You did! Oh, you did try to bribe him. You fucked up, bro.
Well, he says, at the first attempt, no, not initially, he says, but at the end I may have tried the coin way, as it seemed to work in my favor one other time with the ruffian.
And Hughesbane lets out the biggest laugh, and he slams his mug back down, and he is just laughing. No doubt he's
literally laughing at you, bro.
A little bit, but he's just laughing. He says, amateur mistake. And he says, don't you know that those who guard the prison hall have been specially selected and vetted? They will not accept any bribes. In fact, they take offense at it. He says, how safe would the kingdom be if a guard could be so easily swayed with a little coin to... Our criminals would be escaping by the bunches. No.
Kalsheen says, Kalsheen says, you make a very good point, sir, and it was my folly indeed to expect our own Tymrian guards to be as fools as I thought they were. And he says, my apologies, I swear.
Like I said, amateur mistake. And he's still laughing.
And he says, perhaps now that is squared away, maybe you can get me in there. Maybe persuade the fellowmans that I
By
mean...
the way, what's funny about that, I have in my notes that if you attempt to bribe,
I
the
figured.
DC goes up. And you did, and you pulled out gold coins, and I'm like, oh,
I figured.
Oh, Jesus
I
Christ.
figured that was
dude.
one thing that could have been happened. Maybe it's because I bribed them and they have like...
So, are you gonna try to bribe fucking... Are you really gonna try to bribe him?
No, I'm not going to try to bribe Hughesbane.
No.
You're
He's not
just gonna
bribing
try to
anything.
convince him
Yeah.
in your cause.
I'm gonna try to convince him.
Okay.
So
I mean,
what-
I would be a fool to try to bribe him after he just spat that code of
He's
conduct.
like, hey, bitch. Do you have any
Yeah,
idea
Hughesbane
how
says, well-
worthless that is?
I must admit, the only evidence we have is this letter from Lyric written to Daly. So who better to talk to than Daly? Really a no-brainer, if you ask me.
And he says, I'm glad we came to the same conclusion.
Indeed. Well, what else do we have? We must go talk to Daly. No doubt. The guards know me. I have sufficient rank with my many years of service and favors that people owe me. I can no doubt probably get all of us in. Although I'm not sure many would maybe like to see a young halfling walking about.
Well, he says, perhaps me is just enough. And he says, I actually have some pull with this Daily Fellow, as the whole reason he even surrendered was because of what I did in the first place. He says, perhaps it's best that I only be sent.
That is a convincing point. No doubt Daly would probably trust you. But I must add, Gideon is now a Fate Lord, especially given the mantle of this responsibility. He should be involved as well.
I assure you, I couldn't agree with you anymore, except I'm afraid that our last encounter, him, Gideon, and Daly didn't quite get along so well, and that could be detrimental in the information that I'm trying to...
I killed his dog, okay?
Yeah.
And he didn't like it. But where is this dog, by the way? His dog was revived. Is it with him now? Is it in chains?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's with him in jail?
Not with him, but no, they are taking care of Half Pint.
And he says to honor this... Oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I'm assuming. I thought they were together, but if that's not the case, then to go...
To celebrate him becoming a Fate Lord, I assure you, if you send me and only me, and maybe the little one with me, as she is my apprentice, she must learn somehow. Send me in alone with her, and I assure you, all information I gather, I will immediately report to you or him. Or if not both. However, I need to do this alone.
No, Kalsheen, that cannot happen. This is a special mission of the very kingdom itself. Gideon must be present. He must be involved all the way through. It must be so. So, if you are as smooth as you are alluding to, this should be just a minor challenge.
And he kind of frowns at that, and...
Am I hearing any of this? This motherfucker wants to
Absolutely.
continually exclude me? Like, bro,
Absolutely, you're there.
I am
All
so
of you
fucking
guys are the
pissed at
same
you, dude.
Any of you can interject and speak your mind at any
Alright,
time.
I would give me a second. You know what, Jeremy, go ahead and say your piece. I really gotta fucking plan my role playing here because this is gonna be fucking crazy.
I already said
Seriously.
I'm just kind of like laid back and just like I'm just listening.
Okay.
No, the truth is okay. All right. So Gideon will say, "Look here, you're trying to convince my master to take you along on a mission, on a note that I gave him from you on a deal we made, and exclude me in the end.
And
How dare you?"
Yeah, Kalsheen, yeah, you have no idea really what he's talking
Yeah,
about. So
and Kalsheen's just kind of like, what? And he says, well, you did kill his dog in front of him.
Fuck. The dog attacked through the door. I swung and attacked on fucking whim. I mean, I am a guardian of this kingdom. How dare you exclude me? If I hear it again from you, you will be my enemy.
And then Hughesbane just says, I hate dogs. They're noisy creatures and keeping you up all night.
Exactly. That's why I killed it.
And he
Is
just
there-
mutters to himself, he's like, tomorrow, where are you? And he just rolls his eyes, and he's fine. And he says, you can come with, but if we don't get jack squat, you'll know why.
I will come without your permission regardless. I am the letter holder. We made a deal.
So, would Ashe and Gil want to stay at Hughesbane's? Because Hughesbane is going to say, well, I cannot send you alone. I must be in attendance the whole time, you see. That is the policy, at least. I may not be able to take the whole group. That will be harder to manage. I am sorry, Gil, but no one knows you. You were a stranger in these parts.
As I like to keep it. So be it.
Says Ashe, Gil, would you mind just staying here in my quarters? You can make yourself at home.
Is there more ale?
I'll buy
absolutely.
a drink, bro.
I'm a man of preparation. And
Well.
he says, just a moment. And he leaves in the back for a moment. You hear a few things, and you hear a thump, thump. And then he comes back around the corner, and he has a bottle, just like the one that he was drinking down, and he tosses it to you, Ashe.
Thank you very much. Now, this is what.
Yep.
This is
And that's like
hospitality.
compared to
Well, this is what this
like,
whole thing is about.
this is like half your body size, like.
Kalsheen
Holy
doesn't...
shit!
Really?
You
It's
gotta
like a-
lift this shit up.
Okay, so while everybody's like going
like a
about, I
foot
guess
and a half tall bottle.
I'll pull out my stein and say, let's drink, Ashe.
And Hughesbane says, go easy on it, though. We might have a busy night ahead of us.
Yeah, everybody's gonna get fucked up tonight.
All right, so
Kind of fast travel.
I forced myself into
all right,
move
so
on.
Gideon, Hughesbane, and Kalsheen depart to go to the holding cells.
Wait, I'm there too as well, right?
Yeah, I
Yes.
said Gideon, Hughesbane, and Kalsheen.
Okay, I just want to
Yep.
make sure.
So Gil and Ashe are going to stay behind it. Trying not to drink too much.
So, Gil, thinking about my application to the Azure Brotherhood, do you think day drinking would go under experience or special abilities?
That's true. It's like what is it like?
Experience or special.
Is it like at 1:30 in the afternoon?
Oh my gosh. No, it's like 2.
I'll kind of chuckle like, it's a special ability.
I agree.
It's hilarious.